FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. It is 5:10. I'm Manda Factor. Well, Seattle will have its first 8 o'clock sunset of the year tonight. Getting there was interesting. Yesterday afternoon brought lightning, hail, even a water spout over Puget Sound. The National Weather Service says a quarter-inch hail started falling about 2:45 in the afternoon. Then about 15 minutes later, a water spout popped up about 3 miles west of Magnolia. Meteorologist Logan Howard tells the Seattle Times a strong cold front caused it all, a rarity for the Pacific Northwest. A water spout, basically a tornado over the water. There are also reports of thunder, frost, even some snow across the region. You're going to want to use caution headed over the mountain passes this morning after a heavier than expected dumping of snow caught a lot of drivers by surprise.
It started, there was slush, and now everything's white. We're kind of cooked.
Is it spring or still winter? WashDOT told KIRO 7 it expected to see snow and poor road conditions Tuesday night, but the following afternoon, the bottom fell out. At one point, I-90 was closed in both directions due to crashes and stuck semi-trucks.
That's KIRO 7's Jack Bilyeu. Snoqualmie Pass still seeing some slush in spots this morning. It took nearly a month, but you can now access I-5 northbound through South Samish Way. A landslide on March 19th cut off the freeway south of Bellingham. David Rasbach with the Department of Transportation says it was a massive cleanup effort.
And all told, they hauled off about 7,000 cubic yards of material, which is enough to fill 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Engineers also had to reinforce the slope. They worked alongside crews that rappelled down the hillside, shoring up loose rock and drilling nearly 100 steel dowels. A shooting outside a Safeway in the U District injured a man yesterday. Police are now looking for both the victim and the suspect. Here's KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
911 calls for shots fired at the Safeway on Brooklyn Ave in the U District started coming in about 3:15 Wednesday afternoon. Shots fired and one man hit. But when officers arrived, there was no shooter and no victim. SPD Detective Brian Pritchard.
The male that was shot, he actually made his way into the store and sat down briefly before returning to his vehicle and leaving in the same direction as the suspect.
So with no victim and no shooter, police say that they will wait for a victim to turn up and hopefully they'll be able to ID the shooter. In the U District, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
The federal government wants to wipe the record clean for an Auburn man convicted in a January 6th Capitol riot. The Department of Justice filed a motion this week to vacate the convictions of Ethan Nordine, a member of the far-right Proud Boys. A jury found him guilty of seditious conspiracy in 2023. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison. President Trump freed him on his first day back in office last year. According to the Seattle Times, the motion also covers 3 other Proud Boys defendants. Senate Republicans again blocked a Democratic push to limit President Trump's authority to wage war on Iran. The measure failed on a 52-47 vote, mostly along party lines. Here's Washington U.S. Senator Patty Murray.
Democrats are going to keep forcing votes to end this war until our men and women in uniform are back home.
Republicans argue the president needs flexibility to end the war, although some say they want a clearer exit strategy. President Trump again insisted the war is nearly over, saying a new round of peace talks could be looming. Darby Allin pulled off a stunner last night at Angel of the Winds Arena in Everett. He beat MJF on AEW Dynamite to become the new world champion. We talked to Allin this week here on Seattle's Morning News, and he told us when he first walked into the Buddy Wayne Academy in Everett to start training, he was either going to make it as Darby or fail as Darby.
I'm fighting for the world championship as myself. I hadn't changed a single thing.
He did it. Allin graduated from Tahoma High School. It's 5:13, time for a check on traffic, and Chris Sullivan is here. Good morning.
Morning.
How are we today?
Better.
Better than?
What a crazy afternoon yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That was the loudest thunder I've heard in a long time. My poor dogs went nuts.
Yeah, what, like basically snowing-ish?
Yeah. It was the biggest hail I've ever seen.
Wow. Well, the good news is it's nothing like that right now.
Who's ready for sunshine?
Yeah, I just checked the passes. Traction tires are advised on Stevens, Snoqualmie, and White, so we're much better up there. One issue we do have going on this morning is about 4 hours old. A crash across the Lake Washington Washington on westbound I-90 just off of Mercer Island still has the whole right side of the road blocked. Only the HOV lane is open, waiting to get an update on when they might be able to reopen this. So there's not a huge backup behind it because we're super early, and that commute doesn't really start until about 7:30, so hopefully they'll get to this. Rest of the map, though, looks really quiet for this time of day. 35 minutes, Federal Way to Seattle, 35 up the valley. Rented to Bellevue's only 15. Coming down from the north end, nice and easy at about 35 minutes. So all in all, we're in a pretty good space. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, there's actually a frost advisory in effect for a lot of people. It's only 38 to start the morning. For the day, though, how about some sunshine after that wacky weather yesterday? 56 the high for today. Tomorrow looks pretty much the same. Saturday, we're going to be into the mid-60s. Sunday, same deal, and looks like this nice weather is going to stick with us into the first part of next week. 67 on Monday. As I mentioned, it's 38 in Seattle right now. Coming up, CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland offers an update on the war in Iran. This is KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
The John Curley Show.
If by like the 15th of October rolls around and suddenly there's a bolt of lightning and I croak out right there, I'm fine.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
My dream of growing a giant pumpkin is just a couple of months away. I know somebody who knows somebody who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows someone who got me the seed. The 1,500-pounder, baby. It's in a secret location. I don't want to say where it is.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still. You're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
511 is now part of Seattle, and they're celebrating at South Center Mall this Saturday, April 18th. 511 makes purpose-built gear, including pants, shirts, bags, and more, built to handle whatever your day throws at you. Come see it for yourself. Meet pro rider Carrie Hart and enter to win a trip to Salt Lake Supercross, including 2 tickets and $2,000 in cash. Join them from 10 to 6, one day only, Saturday, April 18th at South Center.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical,
there's no beating CM Heating.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
President Trump is claiming the war with Iran is very close to over as U.S. ships solidify a blockade of Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz.
Peace negotiations between the U.S. and Iran could resume as soon as Friday, according to the president.
So what can we expect in the coming week? Let's call up CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. Jeff, give us an idea of where things stand this morning.
Well, it stands, Charlie, is first of all, the president says, as you remarked, that this is close to the end, but frankly, he said that a month ago. Right now, of course, we have imposed a blockade, but it's interesting, it's a U.S. blockade on an Iranian blockade, because initially, of course, the Iranians closed the Strait to Hormuz, but we allowed them to actually ship and sell oil as we removed sanctions, and now we've closed the straits to any Iranian shipping. That seems to be holding. There are reports that as many as 20 ships transited the straits yesterday. That's a substantial number more than we've seen in the last few days, but way down. I mean, normal times, 130, 150 ships a day, so we're way down. And so far, at least, there has been no efforts by the Iranians or any other nations to challenge that U.S. blockade that might elicit a confrontation. And then finally, Charlie, there are suggestions that there may be subsequent negotiations between the United States and the Iranians. That could occur as quickly as this week back in Pakistan. And furthermore, there are discussions of an extension of the ongoing ceasefire between the United States and Iran beyond 21 April, which is the current deadline.
Jeff, what does this blockade look like? Like, how many U.S. ships and troops have been deployed?
Well, we have about 50,000 troops in the region. A substantial number of those are afloat. Obviously, that flotilla in the Arabian Sea, primarily in the Red Sea, had been positioned there to launch Tomahawk cruise missiles, to launch aircraft off the aircraft carrier, particularly the Abraham Lincoln, and also to provide defense for that flotilla, particularly air defense provided by destroyers and some of the cruisers. Now, that flotilla also can be dual purpose to enforce this blockade, but if it's extended over a longer period of time, and frequently blockades historically have taken a long period of time to have the necessary political and economic effect, you might have to bring in additional vessels.
And speaking to that, is the second aircraft carrier still steaming toward this area?
Yeah, we've got the Gerald Ford, I think, is in a port in Croatia because it was damaged due to a fire down in one of the berthing areas of the ship. The Abe Lincoln is still on station in the Arabian Sea, and the George Herbert Walker Bush is en route. I think right now it's coming around the Horn of Africa and will be in the Arabian Sea probably the next few days.
As we mentioned, the president is saying new talks could begin as soon as of Friday. How much do we really know about what happened last weekend during the talks in Pakistan? Is there any idea what we could be doing differently this go-around?
Well, we don't have a lot of details, but certainly an agreement was not reached. There seem to be two sticking points for the United States. The United States demanding a nuclear agreement whereby the Iranians would forswear any type of enrichment for a period of at least 20 years. Iranians offered 5 years, and a full reopening of the straits to commercial shipping. It's important, of course, to recognize what are the Iranians looking for. And the Iranians, I think, want a reduction of sanctions because they need economic recovery after this war has occurred, and some assurances that the United States and Israel will not attack them again. They would also like to link these talks about the Gulf to the ongoing war in Lebanon to see that end as well. But it kind of appears to me, Amanda, that we arrived in Pakistan looking for them to surrender. They arrived with a delegation of about 70 who had all the expertise in various areas, and they were looking to negotiate.
We had a guest on yesterday who says he believes President Trump is underestimating the ability of the Iranian people and Iranian leadership to withstand pain, that they can take a lot more than we might expect.
I think that's 110% correct. I mean, this is a country that fought the Iran-Iraq war for 8 years. After the first 2 years, they had pushed the Iraqis back onto their territory. They continued to fight for 6 more years after that, suffered 250,000 dead. And you'll recall, if you lived during that period of time, that they sent children through minefields to open the minefields in order for them to conduct military advances. So they can take a lot of pain. When this war began, however, they were suffering from 40% inflation, 20% unemployment, electric power blackouts, shortages of water, reports that they were preparing to evacuate all or portion of the capital because the water infrastructure had collapsed. And that was before 13,000 targets were hit. So we're not quite sure how bad things are, but I still think your speaker is correct. They can take an awful lot of pain. And don't forget, this is a repressive regime that killed 30,000 of its own people when they went into the streets prior to this war beginning.
Jeff, we always appreciate you carving out some time for us. Thank you so much. CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. Much calmer weather today after yesterday's wild afternoon. Will be mostly sunny, eventually 56 for today. The sunshine's going to stick around for the next several days, and by Saturday, we'll be into the mid-60s. Right now in Seattle, we have partly cloudy skies. It's 38 degrees. And coming up, KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey has this week's Tech Talk, why one new piece of AI technology is being held over security and safety concerns. That's just ahead here on Seattle's Morning News.
When the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. Fast forward to today, and the U.S. dollar has lost over 85% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold has increased in value by over 12,000%. Central banks are buying gold at record levels. Major firms are holding significant positions in gold. And I choose to buy gold from Birch Gold Group. Stan Bongino, and it all starts with education. Birch Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free online event rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase if you qualify. And you can get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn. But act now. This special event only runs through April 30th. So text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to join Birch Gold's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. Text Dan to 989898 today. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code STATION for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STATION for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's STATION.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day for baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. Case in point, your ticket might be for the view level, but it's more like Skyline City. Up here, it's hard to say what'll take your breath away first. The gorgeous Seattle sunsets or the spectacular views of every incredible play. If you like value with a view, it's the perfect place to take quality time with the family to a whole new level. Literally.
A bases clearing, 3-run double. Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners' upcoming schedule is packed with epic events. King Dome Fanny Pack Hat Night tomorrow at 6:40. Thanks to Global Credit Union. Cal Raleigh 70s Jersey Night Saturday at 4:15. Thanks to Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. And Randy Johnson Number Retirement Night May 2nd. Presented by T-Mobile. Get tickets at mariners.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File today the easy way in the Credit Karma app.
With the high gas prices, now is the time to buy a hybrid or all-electric at Subaru of Puyallup. Great selection and pricing are at your stress-free dealership. SubaruofPuyallup.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:31. I'm Manda Factor. Hail, lightning, a water spout over Puget Sound. Yesterday afternoon was pretty wild across the Seattle area. National Weather Service says a strong cold front moved in, dropping quarter-inch hail on Seattle about 2:45 in the afternoon. That water spout spotted about 3 miles west of Magnolia around 3 o'clock. Meteorologist Logan Howard tells the Seattle Times it's rare for this part of the country. Parts of the region also dealt with thunder and snow. You want the bright side? Tonight, Seattle gets its first 8 o'clock sunset of the year. Investigators want the public's help identifying a man found dead near the Highway 520 bridge in Medina Tuesday. We have a sketch of the man on our website at mynorthwest.com.
They believe he's anywhere from 18 to 30 years old. He's 5'8", light eyes, light brown hair. If you think you recognize him, reach out to the King County Medical Examiner's office.
That's KIRO 7's Lindsay Sheldon. Seattle police have cleared an open-air market near 3rd in Virginia in downtown Seattle. Police tell the Jason Rant Show on Seattle Red 770 AM they have not made any arrests, but they will if they can prove the goods being sold were stolen, as some people suspect. Seattle Red reports that open-air market had been around for at least 6 weeks before police broke it up. Sound Transit's planned light rail extension into Everett might not happen as quickly as planned as the agency looks to cut costs.
The project was originally slated for 2036, but with rising construction costs and Sound Transit now facing a $34.5 billion deficit, the project could be delayed.
KIRO 7's Jake Chapman reports hundreds of people in Everett packed a Sound Transit town hall meeting earlier this week to urge the agency to reconsider. Sound Transit says it's doing everything it can to deliver on the voter-approved ST3 expansion, and it's considering all options to reduce costs. It's 5:33. That's time for a check on the roads on this early Thursday. Chris Sullivan, what do you have for us?
I have an idea how they could actually raise revenue.
I knew that's what you were going to have for us.
And that's coming up in Choke Points today. I think, David, 7:15 is when we're going to do the Choke Points there on Sound Transit. And then Charlie's commentaries about Metro Transit. Variations on a theme today. This is a Transit Trouble 2 for Thursday.
Wow. Can't wait
with Harger and Sullivan. Some interesting stuff going on. Got an update a few minutes ago from the Department of Transportation. The crash we've been working with for about 4 hours on westbound I-90 as you get off Mercer Island. Now just in the far right lane, so only one lane blocked there and not really any backup around it. Just something to keep in the back of your mind as you're coming off the island. Rest of the map looks nice and easy. Puyallup to Renton, 35 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, only 15. Valley Freeway just gave you Federal Way to Seattle's, only 35. Coming down from the north end, nice and easy still. We have some braking westbound across the trestle, but that happens this time of day. And then 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue is not bad. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
The weather is calming down today. How about mostly sunny skies and 56? Tomorrow looks pretty much the same as we wrap up the weekend. The weekend looks terrific. Will be partly sunny, 65 for Saturday and Sunday, a tad warmer on Monday in the sunshine. Right now in Seattle, it's partly cloudy and 38.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO Newsradio.
It's 5:35. In this week's Tech Talk, Anthropic, the company that created the popular AI platform Claude, has created a new AI platform it says is too dangerous to release publicly. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey explains what it is and why.
It's called Claude Mythos. And according to the company, this AI can do something that should raise alarms. It can find and exploit hidden weaknesses in the software that runs the world faster than anyone can stop it. We're talking about so-called zero-day vulnerabilities, the kind hackers usually spend months, even years, trying to discover. Anthropic says this model found thousands of them across major operating systems and web browsers. Just let that sink in. And imagine that kind of power in the wrong hands. Anthropic is introducing Mythos through a secretive invite-only program called Project Glasswing, bringing in about a dozen select organizations, including the top tech companies, to test it out and hopefully lock down vulnerabilities before someone else finds them.
In order to be able to try to pluck as many of the low-hanging fruit of cybersecurity risks as possible.
Dave Caston, a security expert with Palisade Research, recently told CNBC Mythos isn't just a cybersecurity application, however. At its core business goal, Anthropic wants to build automated AI researchers.
That's AI models that help them make better AI models, that help them make better AI models, and so on.
But the alleged power and speed of Mythos is already spreading concern.
So that's really a game changer.
In December, Kristen Flynn Goodwin, a cybersecurity expert who spent 2 decades at Microsoft and now heads advanced cyber law, warned us about hackers connected to China using Claude AI to run cyber attacks.
A multi-staged attack that moves faster than any humans could, and it's all instrumented by AI.
Now, take the same sophisticated cyber criminal groups using something like Mythos to break into critical infrastructure, power grids, financial systems, hospitals, faster than any defense system.
Not only can nation states do it, so can advanced criminals, and then that will trickle down.
To get ahead of that kind of scenario, not just tech companies, but the federal government, including Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, summoned bank executives for a meeting this week and encouraged executives to use Mythos to detect vulnerabilities. Some researchers who have tested the system report they've found more security flaws in weeks than they have in their entire careers. And that's not hype. That's a warning. The likes famed computer scientist and so-called godfather of AI, Gregory Hinton, says,
now I think it's quite likely that sometime in the next 20 years, these things will get smarter than us. And we really need to worry about what happens then.
Okay, I might have a hard time sleeping tonight after that. Well, a movie star is back from the grave as we hear from CBS's Deborah Rodriguez.
The trailer for a new film starring an AI version of the late Val Kilmer has debuted at CinemaCon in Las Vegas.
Don't fear the dead, and don't fear me.
He plays a 1920s Catholic priest and a Native American spiritualist in the indie movie As Deep as the Grave. The Top Gun and Batman Forever actor died a year ago at the age of 65 after a battle with throat cancer. His daughter worked with First Lane Films to create his digital likeness. The movie is scheduled for release later this year. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
We'll get to national headlines coming up next here on KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
ICE agents have now been deployed to 14 airports across the country.
Traffic.
Did they open lanes?
They just reopened all lanes of northbound I-5.
Engaging conversation.
If he ends this right now, it only emboldens Iran. That's a big, big mistake.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! JSN!
Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices. That can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about artificial intelligence.
I cannot answer that.
Many professions are using it, and allegedly some are even being taken over by it. At 1-800-DUI-AWAY, we know police are leveraging AI, whether it's analyzing body cam footage, reading license plates, or even facial recognition. AI has become a helpful tool, enabling officers to work more efficiently. And efficiency for them means more people getting pulled over. You can't chat GPT your way out of a high BAC. Getting legal advice from AI is no substitute for an attorney. Use AI correctly, or it can result in trouble, like a self-driving car taking you home from a bar.
You have reached your destination.
So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. If you get pulled over for DUI, the only thing you need your smart device to do is call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
CBS News Brief. Severe storms have slammed the Midwest for a third day. Flash flooding left drivers stranded. An EF1 tornado touched down in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Chris Combe clamored for cover.
I heard the sirens go off, and we saw what was going on, and we immediately hightailed it to the basement.
The president insists the war in Iran is very close to over. In a sidebar fight,
President Trump announced overnight that the leaders of Israel and Lebanon will speak today for the first time in 3 decades, as Israel considers a possible ceasefire with Hezbollah.
CBS's Jared Hill. The average price for gas today, $4.09 a gallon. Yep, you've been getting soaked for concert tickets, music fans. Loyola Law's Lori Levinson.
The jury in New York said that, in fact, Live Nation has engaged in ticketing practices that violated the anti-monopoly laws.
Live Nation, the parent company of Ticketmaster. CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
After yesterday's crazy weather, we're going to see mostly sunny skies today. Nice little break. And actually, it's going to stick with us for a spell. 56 today. Tomorrow looks the same as we wrap up the week. The weekend, how about mid-60s for Saturday and Sunday? Same deal into Monday. Right now in Seattle, it's partly cloudy and 38 degrees. Coming up, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna gives us an update on his legal challenge of Washington's new income tax. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Dr. Mark Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, including mine, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. And we've interviewed over 100 of Dr. Wagner's patients, and we hear the same things. It changed my life. I'm back to doing the activities I love without pain. It really works. It's remarkable.
We love helping people get back to living life to the fullest and doing the things they enjoy most.
They also must really enjoy not having the pain and recovery time with surgery.
Stem cell therapy is a 60-minute, non-surgical, minimally invasive procedure to eliminate pain, regenerate cartilage, treat tendon and ligament tears, osteoarthritis, and chronic tendinitis.
And you only use the patient's own stem cells.
That's right, their body's own stem cells.
So whether it's a hip like me, an elbow, shoulder, or knee.
Don't forget ankles, wrists, and thumbs.
Yep, those patients too. Before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD first. Learn more at drmarkwagnermd.com.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Massive $10 billion lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal has been dismissed as a federal judge this week chose to toss the defamation case filed by President Trump against the publication.
Let's bring in former State Attorney General Rob McKenna once again. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
Remind us what this lawsuit's centered around.
The lawsuit by Trump centered around claims that he was defamed by the newspaper because they published an article about the scrapbook that was prepared for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday. And one of the pages in the 238-page Happy Birthday book was supposedly a letter signed by Trump with a drawing of a naked woman on it. And Trump said it was all false. He never drew pictures. It was not him. They defamed him. But the court was, and this is the court in the Southern District of Florida, so, a friendly jurisdiction to him generally. The court said, well, you didn't meet the standard for defamation of a public figure, which is you have to prove that the news outlet made the publication with actual malice. That's the standard. And because there was, adequate information and documentation supporting the legitimacy of the letter and its connection to Trump, that standard wasn't met. So now Trump has to decide whether to appeal or maybe file another lawsuit somehow, which he has done in other cases where he's sued media outlets.
How does that differ from, let's say, if one of our listeners was defamed? How is it different from a public figure to them?
The standard for a public figure is different because, in addition to showing that the publication, the claim was false, you have to show as a public figure that the news outlet or the publisher acted with actual malice. In other words, they didn't just make a mistake and publish something false. They knew they were making a mistake. They were trying to harm you. So it is a higher standard for any elected official or other public figure, even like a football coach, of a major team, than it is for the average person who would simply have to show that that the information was false and that the publisher knew it was false, but they don't have to prove it was published with malice.
Any particular football coach you're talking about? Just kidding.
Well, I mean, there are cases involving defamation claims involving football coaches because they are high-profile public figures. So one question is, when are you a public figure? Well, it's kind of the court has to decide that if you're not an elected official. If you're elected, then you're by law you're considered a public figure.
Okay, so the president got settlements from CBS and ABC, and they paid him millions. But the Wall Street Journal chose not to do this. Do you think other companies are going to follow this lead?
Depends on how much leverage the Trump administration has over them. What's the difference between the Wall Street Journal and CBS? The Wall Street Journal doesn't require a federal broadcasting license. So it depends on the company and its circumstances.
You mentioned that the Trump people will now have to decide what they're going to do, but isn't it kind of a foregone conclusion he'll appeal?
Not necessarily. There was another case, I think it was the New York Times case, where he didn't file an appeal. Instead, he filed a new lawsuit. So, in a different court. So he could try that.
But it's not the end of it.
And then he could also, I just don't think he's got a winner here, and legally. Because that actual malice standard is so high, and given what we know about the birthday book, there's been a lot written about it, a lot of information about it. Even if it turns out Trump can show the letter was not his, that it was phony, meeting that actual malice standard where a publication had, a good faith basis to believe it was real and to report on it, it is a really high barrier to overcome.
Well, former AG Rob McKenna, you have been a guest on Seattle's Morning News for years and years. We go to you regularly. I expressed my dismay last week when I heard you on with John Curley, and imagine my distress, my absolute distress when I hear you on with G and Ursula earlier this week.
You've kind of become a co-host of every show on this radio station.
I am surprised, Charlie. I mean, you're all part of the same family. Is this like sibling rivalry?
A little bit.
Everyone wants a piece of Rob McKenna.
Yeah. So they're all talking to you about the case you have filed against the Washington income tax. Where are things standing today?
Well, we filed the complaint in the Superior Court over in Eastern Washington, where a couple of our plaintiffs are, and now we're looking at at least 6 months of litigation process over there. This will not be a trial. This will probably be decided on what we call summary judgment. It's just a question of law. Is this tax unconstitutional? It's a question of law. There's lots of settled case law on this question. So we think the court will be able to reach its decision, by, for example, the end of the summer, but it depends on the judge and, what he wants to do, how fast he wants to move. And then the state will lose because there is binding case law that the Superior Court will follow. And then they'll ask the Supreme Court to take the case up on direct review, bypassing the Intermediate Court of Appeals. And then the case will likely be in the state Supreme Court sometime next year.
And do you have a bold prediction on what could happen in the Supreme Court?
I mean, my bold prediction is that the law will prevail. I mean, look, there's three things to understand about this law, and the proponents of this tax love to omit most of what I'm about to tell you. They tell a very narrow and misleading version of these facts. Fact number one is the language in the Constitution that the voters approved years ago that is why income is, part of property. It's a kind of property. The language is really clear. It's everything tangible and intangible subject to ownership. Income is part of everything. It's an intangible, and we all have ownership rights in our income. Number two, they like to talk about a single 1933 Supreme Court case. It was a 5-4 decision striking down our state's first attempted income tax. But they never want to talk about all the other cases after that reached the very same conclusion because, of course, they're looking at the very same language in the Constitution, which is quite clear. And the third thing they never want to talk about is that voters had an opportunity right after that 1933 decision in 1934 to amend the Constitution and to exclude income from that extremely broad definition of property. And they said no, they turned it down. And they've turned down 5 more proposed constitutional amendments that would have excluded income from property or otherwise allowed a graduated income tax. And then there are 4 initiatives that have gone to the ballot to create progressive income taxes. They have all failed. So the proponents never want to talk about the fact that 10 times in a row, voters have rejected a graduated income tax, and the proponents have worked very hard to keep this issue away from the voters, not allowing it to go to a referendum vote, not putting together the votes to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot, which every other legislature and governor has done in order to give the voters their say. So those facts and that narrative will all come out in the Superior Court and the Supreme Court, and I think the weight is overwhelming. I think the Supreme Court really has an easy decision to make here.
All right. Well, former state AG Rob McKenna, if we hear you on Coast to Coast talking about aliens, we're going to have words, my friend.
Hey, aliens have rights, too.
Of course they do, Rob.
That's right, and they're saucers.
We appreciate your time, Rob. Thank you so much. Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna. He has such a great sense of humor. It's 5:54. Our forecast much calmer than yesterday. Mostly sunny for today. 56-hour high. Partly cloudy tomorrow as we wrap up the week. 57, and into the weekend we're going to get into the mid-60s. How does that sound? Partly sunny both Saturday and Sunday. Looks like this pattern's going to continue into the first part of next week with a high of 67 on Monday. Right now in Seattle, we have partly cloudy skies. It's 38 degrees. And coming up, KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey reports on the big tech companies looking to add data centers right here in Seattle and how much energy that could use. We're also going to hear from Art Dolan from Battlefield Addiction. How do we grapple with the fentanyl addiction running rampant around the cities?
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
At the Boy Scouts of America, our oath remains. A Scout pledges to be kind, helpful, and brave. We're committed to providing a safe and welcoming environment where Scouts can establish the foundations of character that will last a lifetime. Our approach ensures the Boy Scouts of America is building the youth of today into the leaders we'll turn to tomorrow. The Boy Scouts of America. Building character is in our nature. Visit scouting.org to learn more about Scouting.
Hey, John, why don't you tell everybody why you started going to Longevity Medical Clinic?
No, I don't want to do that. I can tell you, I started going to Longevity Medical Clinic before I started doing these commercials, but that why I went is not important.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay. I'll tell you. I was a Sammamish City Council member, and whenever they had asked me to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I couldn't make it through the whole thing without crying. I know, it's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm patriotic, but what the heck? So I go into Longevity Medical Clinic, and I explained this to them, that there's something wrong with my hormones or something, and they see the testosterone and the estrogen are all out of balance. We balance all that stuff, and I can do the Pledge of Allegiance without crying. But I've also noticed that I deal with stress a lot better, don't I?
Yes, you're a lot easier to live with because you're getting more sleep, you have more energy, you're better organized, and I'm not helping you look for your car keys every morning.
Right, because now I've taken the steps to take care of my mind and body. I strongly recommend anybody get the free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
D.R. Horton's National Red Tag Sales Event is going on right now through May 3rd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We've just heard from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on the Iran war. He says the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz will remain in place until Iran agrees to the president's number one demand, that it give up its nuclear ambitions.
The U.S. military moved seamlessly from major combat operations to a world-class blockade. We can make that transition again, very quickly and even more powerfully than ever.
Joint Chiefs Chair General Dan Kane
will actively pursue any Iranian-flagged vessel or any vessel attempting to provide material support to Iran.
The head of the International Energy Agency is warning Europe only has about 6 weeks of jet fuel left. Spirit Airlines taking off and landing on shaky financial ground in part because of surging jet fuel costs. Multiple reports say it could go under as soon as this week. That would be a big hit for smaller airports. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Tim Kroll is the Atlantic City Airport director. He says Spirit is about 85% of their business.
We're hopeful that they'll be able to get through their restructuring, but we just have to wait and see what happens.
Spirit says it is operating normally this morning. New Russian strikes on Ukraine overnight have killed more than a dozen people, making it the deadliest attack of the year so far. CBS's Aidan Stretch reports from Kyiv.
Nearly 700 drones, 19 ballistic missiles targeting cities across the country. The impact here in the capital was particularly brutal. 16 people that were killed in last night's strikes. 4 of them died here in the capital, including a 12-year-old boy.
National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard wants the Justice Department to investigate 2 officials who triggered President Trump's first impeachment.
One is the unnamed whistleblower who raised concerns about Trump's 2019 phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, during which Trump urged Zelensky to investigate then former Vice President Joe Biden.
You take a look at that call, it was perfect.
The House impeached Trump, but the Senate acquitted him. Gabbard also wants the DOJ to investigate former Intelligence Community Inspector General Michael Atkinson, who informed Congress of the whistleblower's complaint. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A new report from Adobe finds an explosion in the number of us using AI to make online purchases. Analyst Vivek Pandya.
Industries like travel, financial services, media and entertainment. When we think about financial services, that traffic is up 158% year on year.
Dow futures are up 122. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
It's 6:03. Let's say hello to Sully at the traffic desk.
Hello.
Is it me you're looking for?
Is that where you were going for?
Maybe.
Okay. See, I'm full range at 6:03 on a Thursday morning. I'm looking for something there to say hello to on northbound 167 as you approach 272nd coming up out of the Auburn area. We kind of went all red out of Auburn up through that area, and we've got about a 30-minute trip already from Auburn to Renton and 50 from Puyallup. So I could use a little help from my KIRO drivers coming up the Valley Freeway on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476. Voice to text. Don't text yourself. Have a passenger do it, or tell me once you get where you're going. I could use a little help. Once you're through that, Renton to Bellevue is only 17 minutes. Northbound I-5 struggling a little bit through Federal Way. We had an earlier crash blocking the HOV lane north of 320th. It's out of the way. We're back under 40 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Out of the north end, looking nice and easy so far. 35 to 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Across the lake, no problems. They've finally cleared all the lanes of westbound I-90 off of Mercer Island about 15 minutes ago, so we have no problems there. This report brought to you by Carpet Liquidators. Get your entire home installed for just $99 at Carpet Liquidators. From carpet to flooring, Carpet Liquidators has got you covered.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 6:04. The AI boom could soon hit Seattle residents in their wallets.
3 companies are looking into building brand new massive data centers in the city, potentially using up a third of the city's power supply.
And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey joins us live with more.
Yeah, that is the big fat question out there right now. How much electricity will these data centers need? Andy Strong with Seattle City Light tells us there's no exact estimate right now.
It's speculative to know how much of a load these additional data centers will bring.
However, there is an estimate based on consumption. On average, it's close to 390 megawatts. That's enough to power 300,000 homes. And Economics 101, the more demand for electricity, the higher the cost for electricity. That means your bill goes up potentially. Strong says they do have a draft policy, though, on Mayor Katie Wilson's desk to make sure large load customers don't drive up rates for everyone else.
It's going to take some time to review with the mayor's office all options that we have to protect our ratepayers.
So right now, these 3 companies are going through what's called a cluster study with City Light. How much will their plans cost? What kind of infrastructure do they need? And how much electricity will they use up exactly? These are very, very early stages. This is like not even pencil on paper right now. We're not even close to ink on paper. City Light says they're looking at the future, though, of how to get ready for that, and also the future of electrifying everything else. There's a nationwide movement toward electrification, more EVs and buildings and everything else. So let's ask, who are these 3 companies driving the data center part of all this?
Prologis has an interest in 2 sites. Sabi Data Center is looking to potentially expand. And Equinix is another potential data center.
So if you're asking yourself now, who's that? Well, those companies could be working for big tech. Last week, in a letter to shareholders, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said AWS expects to spend roughly $200 billion on capital expenditures this year alone, with the lion's share going toward AI development. You need data centers for AI development. And last year, Microsoft President Brad Smith announced a 5-point plan for all future data centers to pay for their own electricity and their own power grid if they have to.
When we go to local communities today, in contrast to, say, a year or 2 ago, people do have questions. They're pointed questions. What does this mean for our electricity price? What does it mean for our water supply? What does it really mean? Who's really going to fill the jobs that are created here?
So this is like a train rolling down the track. Everyone on every side is getting ready for this expansion, but there's a growing political resistance also on this subject. Maine is now considering a law to impose a moratorium on data centers out of fear of blackouts, high bills, and water consumption, because you need water oftentimes to keep those data centers cool. We're going to find out what happens here in Seattle, but that's a lot of electricity.
And you have a Tech Talk coming up at 6:45, something that uses data centers, these AI software solutions, and there's one that people are getting very concerned about.
Concerned, it's going to scare the heck out of you.
All right, well, that's coming up at 6:45. Thank you, Luke. It's 6:07 now on Seattle's Morning News.
Well, Seattle gets its first 8 o'clock sunset of the year tonight. Getting there was interesting. Yesterday afternoon brought lightning, hail, even a waterspout over Puget Sound. The National Weather Service says a quarter-inch hail started falling about 2:45 in the afternoon. Then about 15 minutes later, that waterspout popped up about 3 miles west of Magnolia. Meteorologist Logan Howard tells Seattle Times a strong cold front caused it all. There are also reports of thunder even some snow in the area.
And that's down here, up in the mountain passes. You're going to want to be safe heading over those passes this morning. Heavier than expected dumping of snow yesterday that caught a lot of drivers by surprise.
It started, there was slush, and now everything's white. We're kind of cooked.
Is it spring or still winter? WashDOT told KIRO 7 it expected to see snow and poor road conditions Tuesday night, but the following afternoon, the bottom fell out. At one point, I-90 was closed in both directions due to crashes and stuck semi-trucks.
As KIRO 7 reporter Jack Bilyeu, Snoqualmie Pass still seeing slush in places. There's snow and slush on the road at Stevens this morning, and Sully, at last check, traction tires are still advised up there?
Advised on all three, Stevens, White, and Snoqualmie, but right now much better than it was 12 hours ago.
It's 6:09.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Well, it's Thursday, April 16th. I'm Charlie Harger alongside Manda Factor.
Hello, we made it through yesterday.
We sure did. I was not in Seattle when that all came through. I'm just watching these videos online. I'm like, that can't be real.
I've never seen hail that large, and it was bouncing off my deck. It was falling so hard that it was bouncing back up about 4 feet.
Oh, geez.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
Poor dogs went crazy. It was really wild.
Lasted about 15 minutes?
Yeah, the thunder stuck around a little bit longer than that.
All right, well.
It was wild.
A little woolly, too. This hour, Seattle's Morning News, sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
And coming up this hour, we spoke with Art Dolan. He's the founder of Battlefield Addiction, a nonprofit that helps families navigate addiction. He's going to share some really important perspective on the issue of addiction and why he says it's time for the city of Seattle to change its approach.
It's 6:10 now. There's bad news for would-be transit riders in Everett who are learning that a light rail extension into town could be delayed by Sound Transit. Here's KIRO 7's Jake Chapman.
Public transit in the North Sound is a lifeline for so many.
I don't have a vehicle, so I use the public transit and the Light Link all the time.
And if you were to ask transit users what would make their lives easier, they would tell you the light rail extension in Everett they've been wanting for decades.
We've got that whole issue of a $34 billion deficit at Sound Transit, which could mean cutbacks or delays on the ST3 system expansion work. Agency says it's considering multiple cost-saving measures and will make a decision in May or June.
Shots fired outside a Safeway in the U District. Some sort of fight led to the gunshots about 3:15 yesterday afternoon near Brooklyn Avenue and Northeast 50th. SPD Detective Brian Pritchard says a victim was shot in the thigh, then walked into the grocery store.
We figured he went inside maybe to have someone call 911. But he sat there briefly on the floor, and then he got up and he got his vehicle and he left the scene.
The suspect also drove off and has not been caught. Police hope the victim shows up later at the hospital. No one else was hurt.
Dozens of city workers moved in yesterday to clear away a homeless encampment at Totem Pole Park in West Seattle.
Neighbors say this encampment that sits next to the West Seattle Golf Course has been the epicenter for crime, violence, and drug abuse that spills into the greater community. Some campers, like Aiden, say they have called this camp home for several weeks now and face an even more uncertain future.
We're just getting our stuff to the sidewalk so that they don't throw it away. And from there, we just kind of sleep wherever we fall asleep, I guess.
Fortunately, the city also has workers here to assist campers if they want help. In West Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Golden Gardens Park in Ballard is getting private security guards this summer. Seattle Parks and Rec says the guards will patrol the boat ramp, parking lot, and gates overnight as part of a pilot program. The Seattle Times reports Magnuson Park will get the same treatment. If the guards spot anything illegal, they will call Seattle Police.
At 6:12, let's get a check on the weather. Nick Allard from KIRO 7 TV, pinpoint meteorologist. Boy, that was quite the deal in Seattle yesterday.
What the heck, Nick?
A lot of hail and all those thunderstorms, and then we had the water spout. Yeah, we had all sorts of action yesterday, and we still do have pockets of showers. It's just that they're almost done. The Puget Sound convergence zone has really lost its support. The wind isn't really converging anymore, and because of that, showers started to drift south, and now we're just looking at some moisture around, say, like Maple Valley East in King County, and a little bit around Enumclaw, where you had some snow last night, and you could see a little more. But all those spots in the foothills could see some pockets of snow wet snow mixed in, but that is going to end here over the next hour or two. It's really not going to cause trouble besides just sort of being a nuisance this morning. The rest of the area outside of there, it's very cold. We have that freeze warning in Olympia, frost advisory for a lot of the south, and temperatures are in the upper 20s and low 30s, so there could easily be some slick spots, some patchy fog as well, just in general. So with all that action yesterday and the thunderstorms and the waterspout and the hail, now we're on the calm side of things, but because of that, it's really cold. And again, it could be frosty, it could be a little slick. This afternoon, it's all sunshine, and in a couple of hours, all the showers we do have go away, and we'll be in the upper 50s with sun. Tomorrow, same idea, around 60, and then while you do get a few more clouds this weekend, you still look dry in the mid-60s and be in the mid to upper 60s next week. But yeah, thunderstorms all over the place yesterday. That was an interesting and fun afternoon.
Yeah, and it's looking like a nice weekend. I was thinking of headed out to the spring fair, so
beautiful.
Should cooperate.
Will you get me a pierogi?
Ooh,
I'll get you 3.
Okay, you can go.
Right now in Seattle, it is cloudy and 37.
And it's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. Here's Chris Sullivan.
I want to thank my KIRO drivers who let me know that we do have a couple little fender benders and a conked out vehicle on northbound 167 north of basically Emerald Downs up towards about 272nd to 277th. Not blocking anything. Most of it's over on the right-hand shoulder, and the backup has gotten much better. We're back down to about 22 minutes to go from Auburn to Renton and not quite 45 all the way from Puyallup. So we've actually picked up about 5 or 6 minutes there, which is good. Northbound I-5 Federal Way up through Seattle, under 40 minutes. The crash we had blocking the HOV lane near 300th is out of the way as well. There's just a little slowing from 18 on up, but you can handle it. Olympia to Tacoma is no problems, and Tacoma and Pierce County in general are quiet. Coming down from the north end, nice easy day from Arlington to Marysville and Everett, picking up a little slowing towards the Mill Creek interchange, a little bit in Northgate, a little bit on Canyon Park for 405, but a 40-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue at this time of day is pretty good. Lake bridges are fine, and we're still working with this crash on stall southbound 405 right around 169 in the Renton S-curves there. Again, southbound right lane, not a huge issue around this. This report brought to you by Subaru Puyallup. With the high gas prices, now's the time to buy a hybrid or all-electric at Subaru Puyallup. Great selection, pricing, all there at your stress-free dealership, SubaruPuyallup.com.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO News Radio.
Across Washington state, the number of people living in encampments continues to grow despite billions of dollars spent on homeless services and supportive housing programs. Critics say housing first policies, which prioritize placing people in housing without requiring treatment or sobriety. They have done little to address the underlying issues of addiction, they say, and mental illness driving this crisis.
Our guest has spent years working this problem from a different angle. Art Dolan is from Battlefield Addiction, a service he founded years ago, and he helps people get into real recovery and into sobriety, not just housed. Art, thank you for joining us today. We'll talk about the fundraiser you have coming up, but I just want to start with what sounds kind of like a controversial statement here in the Seattle area, and that is housing first does not seem to be working.
Well, there's an insinuation, and I think that the argument has the argument over what this actually is, whether this is a housing crisis or whether this is a drug and mental illness crisis, seems to be a long-standing argument. And I would say to the people that say we need to house people first, I would say, well, if it's a housing crisis, then why is it only first? Why isn't it just housing then? Why is it housing first? Because housing first insinuates that there's something else that this person needs. And now if we have these policies where we're housing people, but we aren't giving them second. So my question is, what is second? And we hear terms like wraparound services and things like that, but we've never seen them come to fruition. We've never seen this model that they speak of. And we're talking about years and years of hearing this. So when does it happen? And how much money do we need for that to occur? I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying you haven't done it. And I'm saying it's almost cruel to leave people out on the streets. Even if a homeless person happened to be sober and down on their luck and out on the streets, even them, they might accept drug treatment or any kind of sober housing then. We could just do that, So why aren't these people that are out on the streets not having a home accepting treatment and sober living then? they don't have a drug problem. They could go to sober living. So there's an insinuation that housing first is happening, but it's not even really happening because there's no second and there's no third. So my question is how long until it happens?
Art, you don't tiptoe around terms like addict. You call them drug camps. You say sobriety out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Why does that make some people uncomfortable this day and age?
Well, I've been inundated with a bunch of new terms. I've been in this I was a drug addict for 17 years. And, after that, I've been sober. I've been sober now for 15. And I've been doing things. And these terms I've been inundated with them. Substance use disorder. We sit around in meetings, of AA or NA or whatever kind of meetings, and we call ourselves addicts. So I don't understand why people feel it's offensive because we call ourselves that. No one ever asked. So I always wonder why these terms change. I've been inundated with terms like housing first. I've been inundated with terms. Evidence-based is a term that I've been given. And my question to every time I hear the term is evidence of what? What? What is the evidence of? Are we talking about evidence of an independent human being? Are we talking about evidence of somebody was doing one drug and now they've been put on another drug? What is the evidence you speak of? So it's kind of this argument that I've been hearing that your stuff over here doesn't work, but we have evidence-based. And then when I say evidence of what, they don't have an answer. And they might, and so I'm waiting for those answers because what we have is a very difficult process. What we're doing is kind of difficult. To take somebody from drug addiction to sobriety to independence is a tall order. So that's why maybe our success rates aren't that high because getting off drugs is a very difficult thing. So maybe
another term we hear a lot is harm reduction. I am guessing you have some thoughts on that too.
Well, I think we've missed, harm reduction is usually used as a last resort. It's a last resort. If you have a human being that there's no other way that they won't stop using drugs, they're going to use, then what we used to do is say, well, if you're going to use, here, please use clean needles. Be safe. There's nothing we can do. We are using harm reduction as our first move. So it's not even a question. Before we ask people if they even need help, if they want to stop, if maybe they want to go to treatment, we're saying, here's supplies, here, use. So it's not at this point harm reduction. At this point, it has to be called providing. It has to be called allowing.
Tell us about your event coming up May 9th.
May 9th, it's a run, 5K. I think it's our 10th annual, and all the proceeds go right to an individual scholarship to our program. And being able to just bring people in out of treatment, bring people off the streets and say, here you go, man, you got 3 months to get it together. We want to get people 3 months normally of funding so that in that 3 months they can learn the tools that they need to be sober and they can learn the tools they need to get back, get a job, get a bank account, get their ID, and all that money goes to that. And that's what we're working on.
You're working on getting people sober and independent and turning the next chapter in their lives and not just sitting in a place and rotting until they decide to ask for help, Art.
And Seattle doesn't start, and mark my words, get them sober. Until we start saying we need to get these people sober, it will be a mess forever. It will never change because you're doing exactly what people have learned in the history of addiction. Everyone's known. You cannot help someone that's addicted to fentanyl and meth before getting them sober. You cannot do it. You will not do it. You're not going to tell me there's a way. You can't show me there's a way. So please, getting them sober is the only way for an addict to change their life, and it's the first step. And it's laughable that people think that there's another step. Absolutely, completely laughable. And when you start saying we need to get them sober, then you'll also start recognizing that it's going to be very difficult without trusting our police and without using some type of at least coercion or threat to. I always say we don't need to arrest our way out of it, but somebody's got to think they might be arrested. You see, my father didn't spank me all the time, but he did spank me once.
That was it.
And I remembered that for the rest of my life, and I didn't want it to happen again, so I acted accordingly.
Art Dolan, battlefield addiction, Big fundraiser coming up May 9th.
Come on,
details.
sign up. We need you there. It's a fun day. We've got booths and food and coffee, and we have a great time.
All right. Art, thank you for your time this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.
6:23 now. Let's check in with Sully at the traffic desk.
And we've got a problem in the Tacoma area on northbound I-5 right as you're trying to get off there at Port of Tacoma Road. It looks like that ramp is blocked, and so because of that, we're seeing some extra slowing across the Puyallup River Bridge. Give yourself a couple of minutes to go from Tacoma up to Federal Way, a couple extra minutes, that is. Once you're through that, Federal Way to Seattle's about 42 minutes, so not too bad. Valley Freeway is about 45, maybe a little bit under. There is heavy braking north of Emerald Downs up towards 277th. That's where we've had a couple of things that are over on the right-hand shoulder now. Rented to Bellevue, no problems for you guys. Just a little bit of braking right near the Maple Valley Highway. 20 minutes or less to make the drive there. Across the lake, no problems. Coming down from the north end, we do have some westbound slowing across the trestle. Nothing that you can't handle, though. For Arlington to Everett, looking really good. A little bit of slowing by the Boeing Freeway, but again, you can handle it. Through Canyon Park, maybe a little bit heavier than I'd like to see this early. 45 minutes from Everett into Bellevue, about 42 from Everett into Seattle. So we're off to the races, but not too bad. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone.
Well, the weather's not too bad either. Mostly sunny today, 56. A nice break from the rain. Partly cloudy for tomorrow, 59, and the weekend looks terrific. Highs into the mid-60s. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy and 38 degrees. On the way, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey on the life of Joel Connelly, a staple of political journalism here in Seattle. He died this week. Also, we'll get your opening bell report here on Seattle's Morning News.
Now, a word for the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a tax retirement analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. That's 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Congratulations to KIRO News Radio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community. It seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO News Radio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve on KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code STATION for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STATION for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's STATION.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Deep to right field. Going. Goodbye, baseball. At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But for a view that's a real home run, check out right field. Make that the dump yard. Sure, it's a great spot to see our fearless outfielders fly, dive, and slide. Wow! Victor Robles makes the catch! But you might get to flash some leather too, because the forecast in the dump yard always calls for rain. Raining big dumper home runs, that is. Number 60, the magical tour of Cal Raleigh just continues. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners are back in town tomorrow for a 6-game homestand. Don't miss Kingdome Fanny Pack Hat Night tomorrow at 6:40 versus the Rangers, thanks to Global Credit Union. And 3 Mariners value games against the A's, Monday through Wednesday, with tickets starting under $12. Lock in your seats at mariners.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Total Wellness at Home is here. Save up to $2,800 on a saltwater hot spring spa and enjoy healthy, relaxing soaks. Save up to $12,000 on an endless pool swim spa for a year-round retreat. These massive savings end April 30th.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:30. Washington sheriffs are headed to court today to challenge a controversial new law allowing a state board to decertify and remove elected sheriffs from office.
A court hearing today in Pend Oreille County Superior Court focuses on the bill that Governor Ferguson signed into law designed to strengthen accountability for law enforcement. But Spokane County Sheriff John Knoll says it's bad policy. Talking to the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770.
Probably the most egregious part, and the part that will become political, is it allows an unelected body of people put in place by the governor to remove an elected sheriff from office without any voice of the people who put him in place.
And Como reports a judge will decide if the law should be enforced while the legal challenge moves forward.
The world of journalism has lost a legend. The former Seattle PI reporter and columnist Joel Connelly has died.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here with more on his life and what he gave all of us here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, Connelly really was a legend, wasn't he? A journalist, a columnist who's really best known for his work at the Seattle PI. He gave us countless columns and stories along the way, keeping us informed and telling us who the bad guys were and keeping people honest. He later brought his analysis, his wit, his unmistakable voice to Post Alley and MPI's Cascadia Advocate. He helped shape the Northwest Progressive Institute as well. You know, I found this clip, wanted to play this. Here he was talking with a group of people during an event recently, actually, not too long ago, months ago, for Horizon House.
It has been a somewhat eventful life. People have asked me, how do you get to do what you do? And that is the simple answer to it, because you could make a difference as a reporter.
Yeah, and he certainly did. Governor Bob Ferguson saying on social media today, Joel Connelly was our state's premier political analyst, and I suspect I read every word he wrote since first running for office. He was also one of the worst retirees. Joel couldn't seem to stop covering Washington politics. He had a real gift for weaving our state's political history into stories. The governor's prayers are with his family. You know, Joel said in that interview that we just listened to as well, he was a Bellingham boy by birth, a Pac Northwesterner by choice. He was a graduate. He had a graduate degree, that is, from UW. I say that because his undergrad work was at Notre Dame. Fellow Golden Domer here in our studio with Chris Sullivan. Connelly's family said he died peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. He was 78 years old.
And just to put this in perspective, his last story was published yesterday, the day he died.
Incredible.
So, long career there. Thank you for that update, Luke. 6:33.
Just ahead of our traffic. Took nearly a month, but drivers can now access I-5 northbound through South Samish Way. A landslide on March 19th cut off the freeway south of Bellingham. David Rasbach with the Department of Transportation says it was a massive cleanup effort.
And all told, they hauled off about 7,000 cubic yards of material, which is enough to fill 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Engineers also had to reinforce the slope. They worked alongside crews that rappelled down the hillside, shoring up loose rock and drilling nearly 100 steel dowels.
You know, people in Bellingham are going to be relieved with that. I drove past it, 2 weeks ago, and it was more than a half-hour delay.
Yeah.
City streets were just crawling getting by, so good to know that's reopened. Time to check traffic now. Here's Sully.
And we've got about a 5 to 8 minute delay now on northbound I-5 from the Tacoma Dome all the way up towards the Port of Tacoma Road. That's where we have this crash, where the exit to Port of Tacoma Road is blocked, and we have that sizable backup behind it. 20 minutes to go from Tacoma up to Federal Way. That is about double the normal travel time, so I'm watching that one really closely. A little bit further to the south, to our good friends in the Spanaway area, looks like Highway 7 is blocked just before you get to the Y there, or to the 507 cutoff there. So we're about 22nd Ave, if you're familiar with that, kind of by kind of the Storage Plus there as you work your way through. I know if you drive this every day, you know what I'm talking about, but both directions are impacted. Power lines are down again because of this crash. There are detours around it, but not a lot of fun in that general area, kind of southwest of Frederickson. Once you make it through that, pretty good drive, and then we're looking at Puyallup to Renton of about 45 minutes. About 25 to 30 now from Renton to Bellevue. A lot more action in the S-curves. Federal Way to Seattle's running about 45. The lake bridges are still fine. And about 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, so not too bad out of the north end. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, it's going to be really nice, calming down after yesterday's wild afternoon. Mostly sunny, 56 for today. Tomorrow looks just pretty much the same, a little bit warmer, and then the weekend looks terrific. Highs into the mid-60s. We'll be pushing 70 by Monday. Lots of sunshine. It's 38 in Seattle right now.
6:35, time for the opening bell report. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the rise in gas and diesel fuel prices isn't making the rate of inflation in the country worse.
We're actually seeing core inflation drop. And again, this is a short-term blip.
Bessent said he was optimistic gas prices in the U.S. would hit $3 again sometime this summer. That would be the national average, depending on how negotiations to open the Strait of Hormuz end up playing out.
When it comes to housing, a new report says millennials continue to be shut out of the market. KIRO News Radio's John Repp has a closer look at the latest numbers and what they mean for our region.
Boomers still dominate the housing market, 42% of buyers, according to the National Association of Realtors, highlighting a growing generational gap. In Seattle, real estate agent Zach McDonald sees the same thing, but says families are getting creative to help younger first-time buyers.
Parents, grandparents, relatives are helping them with down payments, helping them purchase the house together.
Supply remains tight in the Seattle area, making it harder for younger buyers to break in. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is set to testify before the House Ways and Means Committee this morning, outlining his agency's budget priorities for the next fiscal year. CBS's Dr. Celine Gounder reports.
Today's hearings aren't really about whether prevention and public health matter. They're about whether the system that delivers prevention and public health is still working. Secretary Kennedy is expected to argue that chronic disease is the central failure of American health, that we spend too much treating illness and not enough preventing it.
Ford has announced changes aimed at boosting its profit margin and refreshing most of its vehicle lineup.
Ford CEO Jim Farley says changes being made at the automaker integrate its electric vehicle, digital, and design team with its global industrial system. It means some top leadership changes. The company says it's key in achieving Ford Plus objectives, including an 8% profit margin by 2029. Ford says it will refresh 80% of its North American portfolio by volume and 70% of its global portfolio by volume. This includes the first vehicle on the Universal Electric Vehicle platform, a mid-sized pickup, and the next generation of F-150 and F-Series Super Duty trucks. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
The cost to own and operate a new car is up 40% since 2020. CBS's Maya Blackstone says the cost of a used car has jumped 25% in the past 6 years.
As of early 2026, the average used car price was over $25,000. It's interesting because a massive decline in new car sales between 2021 and 2023, connected in part to the chip shortage and also a lot of pandemic factors, it led to fewer trade-ins and lease returns. And so also because new cars are becoming increasingly expensive and unavailable, buyers are flooding the used car market, which is causing prices to soar.
A federal jury has delivered a major blow to the live entertainment industry, finding Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation, illegally operated as a monopoly.
States had accused Live Nation of stifling competition, limiting consumer choice, and overcharging fans. The jury found that Ticketmaster overcharged customers by $1.72 per ticket. But don't expect changes to your ticket prices quite yet. The judge will be determining remedies in a separate proceeding, so that could include money damages, structural changes to the business, or potentially even the breakup of Live Nation and Ticketmaster.
That's CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman.
As the markets open this morning, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 131 points. The S&P 500 is still in record territory. It's at 7,031. That is up 8 points. And the NASDAQ has dropped slightly, down 14 points.
Spring showers? Yeah, right. More like spring sprinkles, downpours, hailstorms, cold snaps, flooding, and sometimes even a little sun. Spring in Western Washington changes day to day, even hour to hour. That's why you need experts who have decades of experience and the right tools to keep you weather ready. Watch KIRO 7 pinpoint weather forecasts in every newscast and on the KIRO 7 apps for your phone or TV.
You forgot to mention the hail and the water spout.
The water spout, yes.
Sully was coming up in traffic.
The itsy bitsy spot. Northbound I-5, as we see our brake lights through the Tacoma area, going to update how we're doing with that crash at the Port of Tacoma Road.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
The John Curley Show.
If by like the 15th of October rolls around and suddenly there's a bolt of lightning and I croak out right there, I'm fine.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
My dream of growing a giant pumpkin is just a couple of months away. I know somebody who knows somebody who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows someone who got me the seed. The 1,500-pounder, baby. It's in a secret location. I don't want to say where it is.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
Some people out there love to do things entirely on their own. Others ask for help and trust their resources. When involved in an auto accident, you've got the choice of dealing with insurance on your own or hiring an attorney. I'm joined in studio by Harold D. Carr. He represents Harold Carr Law Offices. Harold, what's one of the main reasons for seeking representation?
If you were to look at statistics, most people end up with a lot less recovery when they don't have a law firm representing them.
And why should they hire Harold Carr Law Offices?
We're not shy about bringing lawsuits. We do try to settle, and insurance companies know that. They know that we're fair in how we talk to them. The answer is really we are very professional. But we've had cases, big and small where we've had to take it into litigation, and about 98% of those will settle in mediation. A lot more than the client originally expected.
Visit carlaw.com. That's carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical, there's no beating CM Heating.
It's 6:43. We check traffic on the 3s with Chris Sullivan.
And we have cleared the crash on northbound I-5 right at the Port of Tacoma Road. It had blocked the exit there. We have about a 5 or 6 minute delay to deal with right there, right by 705 by the Car Museum and the Dome. After that, it's really not too bad. And then you get up there through the area, and it's going to be about 45 minutes to go from Federal Way to Seattle. Now, down in that general area, kind of, we'll call it Spanaway, east of JBLM, kind of south of Frederickson, northbound 7 is blocked. A couple of crashes there. This is just south of the Walmart there, just south of about 208th. A couple of crashes. Both directions are knocked out with this because power poles are down across the highway. Everyone is being detoured coming up from the south right there at 22nd Ave. Everyone's being detoured southbound right there at 208th. And you're basically going through the neighborhood to get around this. This is going to cost you probably 25 or 30 minutes through that area, and we've got no estimate of when that is going to get better. The rest of the map in Pierce County looks okay. Just a little bit of yellow on the map here and there. 410 in Sumner, a little slow actually getting to Sumner. We had some earlier issues near Traffic Ave. Expect a little bit of braking from Winco down around Valley Ave. And then Puyallup to Renton, about 45 minutes. The Renton to Bellevue Drive, still about a half an hour, so not too bad. Federal Way to Seattle, as I said, about 45 minutes. We're up over 50 now from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Really seeing the brake lights south of the 527 area and from about 145th in Shoreline. Lake Bridges, though, are in good shape. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Might see a few lingering showers this morning. Otherwise, it's going to be a gorgeous day. Mostly sunny and 56. We're into a nice weather pattern here. For tomorrow, partly cloudy, 59. The weekend, partly sunny. Both Saturday and Sunday with highs into the mid-60s. Right now in Seattle, the sun's coming up. It's 38 degrees.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has this week's Tech Talk, why one new piece of AI technology is being held over security and safety concerns. That's on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
Well, do you remember when you used to wake up ready to take on the world? Lately, not so much. I'm talking brain fog, the exhaustion, that feeling like you're just not you anymore. Well, it's not your imagination, and you don't have to keep pushing through it. At Juvacor Health and Wellness Center, hormone replacement therapy starts with something you won't find online, and that is a real conversation, face-to-face, with a female provider who genuinely gets it. Led by Dr. Lucy Hostetter, she is terrific, a board-certified physician. Her team has spent the last 7 years specializing in one thing, helping women feel like themselves again. This is their focus. It's what they do, and they love to do it. Your care is driven by labs, by listening, and by a personalized treatment plan that's dialed into your body and your life. And they follow up. This kind of care has to be personal. With convenient locations now in both Tacoma and Bellevue, Dr. Hostetter's practice has expanded from the flagship location, Seattle Regenerative Medicine Center in Bellevue, to Tacoma. You deserve a provider who makes the uncomfortable conversations comfortable. Reach out today, juvacorehealth.com. That's JUVECORE health.com. Feel like yourself again.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code STATION for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STATION. for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill up. That's Station.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Muckleshoot. Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
In this week's Tech Talk, Anthropic, the company that created the popular AI platform Claude, has created a new AI platform it says is too dangerous to release publicly.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here to explain what it is and why.
It's called Claude Mythos. And according to the company, this AI can do something that should raise alarms. It can find and exploit hidden weaknesses in the software that runs the world faster than anyone can stop it. We're talking about so-called zero-day vulnerabilities, the kind hackers usually spend months, even years, trying to discover. Anthropic says this model found thousands of them across major operating systems and web browsers. Just let that sink in. And imagine that kind of power in the wrong hands. Anthropic is introducing Mythos through a secretive invite-only program called Project Glasswing, bringing in about a dozen select organizations, including the top tech companies, to test it out and hopefully lock down vulnerabilities before someone else finds them.
In order to be able to try to pluck as many of the low-hanging fruit of cybersecurity risks as possible.
Dave Caston, a security expert with Palisade Research, recently told CNBC Mythos isn't just a cybersecurity application, however. At its core business goal, Anthropic wants to build automated AI researchers.
That's AI models that help them make better AI models, that help them make better AI models, and so on.
But the alleged power and speed of Mythos is already spreading concern.
So that's really a game changer.
In December, Kristen Flynn Goodwin, a cybersecurity expert who spent 2 decades at Microsoft and now heads advanced cyber law, warned us about hackers connected to China using Claude AI to run cyber attacks.
A multi-staged attack that moves faster than any humans could, and it's all instrumented by AI.
Now, take the same sophisticated cyber criminal groups using something like Mythos to break into critical infrastructure, power grids, financial systems, hospitals, faster than any defense system.
Not only can nation states do it, so can advanced criminals, and then that will trickle down.
To get ahead of that kind of scenario, not just tech companies, but the federal government, including Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, summoned bank executives for a meeting this week and encouraged executives to use Mythos to detect vulnerabilities. Some researchers who have tested the system report they've found more security flaws in weeks than they have in their entire careers. And that's not hype. That's a warning. The likes famed computer scientist and so-called godfather of AI, Gregory Hinton, says,
now I think it's quite likely that sometime in the next 20 years, these things will get smarter than us. And we really need to worry about what happens then.
Yeah, if it scares you, it should. It really should. I think that's healthy. A couple of things really quickly. I've heard this called mythos, methos. Pick what you want to call it. Also,
I call it Skynet.
Skynet. Zero-day vulnerabilities. What are those? Well, those mean that there's a vulnerability that's actively being exploited. Someone's inside your system. They've cracked in, and the company's got to scramble to fix it because oftentimes companies have vulnerabilities that no one knows about, and they fix those before anyone gets inside. So, some claim this is a PR stunt, that it's not real. Okay, but if it is real, and it looks like it is, you can certainly see positive applications for this for companies, and then negative. It can destroy companies literally overnight. We're talking about big companies. Bottom line, this is either going to make the internet really great and safe, or it's going to make things really bad.
Well, in his prediction of 20 years, is it really going to take that long before they're smarter than us?
It could be sooner than that, because he first started predicting 50 years, and then he's now gone to 20 years, and this technology keeps coming online quicker and quicker and quicker. think about this. Anthropic is, and they're all doing this. ChatGPT, all of them. AI models that create AI models that create. Yeah. I mean, it's just machines teaching machines teaching machines. That's what's happening.
Can we go back to the 80s?
Should we have a vote? I agree.
I'd love to see it. I've heard a lot about it.
It was amazing.
It was a good time.
Is it possible, Luke, that it wouldn't be so scary if you didn't come up with crazy names like Mythos and Claude and Anthropic? Why not like Cuddly Kitten, Chipmunk?
Oh, okay.
Just make the AI seem cute.
And do some popcorny music in the background. Not that ominous stuff.
Sounds like a wise idea from an AI executive. Let's make it sound cute so it doesn't sound
Let's recut it with nice, fun music and see how we feel.
Think of the Sesame Street theme.
Mythos will destroy Sesame.
I'm not going to sleep tonight. Thanks, Luke.
You bet.
All right.
My pleasure.
6:53 now. Sully, you take us from Sesame Street to I-5, maybe?
Yes, I will. Those are different thoroughfares, by the way. The speed limit on Sesame Street is very, very slow, just that way, and for good reason. Okay, I have a bunch of things going in my head, but I'm just going to stop. Northbound I-5, as you approach the Michigan curve, we do have the HOV lane blocked and maybe the left general purpose lane blocked. I thought it was a little closer to the Michigan curve. It's actually south of that. So we have about a 50-minute trip to go from Federal Way to Seattle. So we've added about 10 minutes on that drive at this particular moment. So just keep that in mind. Good news is from Federal Way up to the scene, it really isn't all that bad. Tacoma does have a kernel of braking on the I-5 corridor right there at the Car Museum towards the Dome. We had an earlier crash near the Port of Tacoma Road. It's out of the way. Most of Pierce County has some yellow on the map there around our major core drives, but not too bad. Now, a little bit to the south, though, big problems kind of in southeast span away at this point. SR7 is blocked in both directions south of the Walmart there. We have a crash that's taken down a couple of power poles. We've got lines down, and people are being diverted through the neighborhood. If you're not familiar with that area, a bunch of people take Highway 7 coming up from the south end on the east side of JBLM, working your way up to 512. So this is causing big problems for them. Looking at the Valley Freeway, not too bad. We got about a 45-minute trip, and then Renton to Bellevue is about a half an hour, maybe a little under. Lake Bridges still good. Coming down from the north end, we do have heavy braking now approaching 112th coming down from the Boeing Freeway. I'm looking to see if we might have something that just popped up there. Our travel time has jumped up to about an hour now from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Not only the brake lights there, but then the rest of the stuff that you're used to the rest of the way. This report brought to you by D.R. Horton, which has new homes and communities across Puget Sound and Central Washington ready for you. Visit drhorton.com, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
The wild weather has moved out. We're going to see mostly sunny skies, 56 for today, same deal for tomorrow, and then the weekend into the mid-60s. Right now it's 38 in Seattle.
That sounds nice. Well, coming up on the next hour of the show, more of the day's top headlines, and Luke Ducey rejoins us with the big tech companies looking to Seattle for their data centers.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
ICE agents have now been deployed to 14 airports across the country.
Traffic.
Did they open lanes?
They just reopened all lanes of northbound I-5.
Engaging conversation.
If he ends this right now, it only emboldens Iran. That's a big, big mistake.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! JSN!
Always here, always with you. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe there are 7 steps that must be taken in preparation for a successful retirement. Retirement needs more than just a basic income plan. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Summertime means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, sandwiches at the summit. So don't let your bank stop you from having fun. Free checking at WaFd Bank is the way to go. There are no minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Plus, you'll get spending tools and the latest technology to help you stick to your budget. Not only is WaFd Bank a best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states, so you have access wherever you are. Visit WaFdBank.com to open your account. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call
877 CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
The action is fierce, the energy is over the top, and it's a night you don't want to miss. It's Excite Fight Live MMA at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. See a full night of incredible combat when MMA fighters face off in the cage and turn the excitement all the way up. Get your tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot. We meet by accident.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family-owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because...
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. We're here to help you achieve total wellness at home. Right now, save up to $2,800 on a saltwater hot spring spa for fabulous healthy soaks. Or save up to $12,000 on an endless pool swim spa and turn your backyard into a year-round swim oasis. These massive savings end April 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Jazz Alley invites you to witness a generational talent celebrate two icons. Pianist Emmett Cohen presents Miles and Coltrane at 100. Shows run April 16th through 19th. Tickets at jazzalley.com. Next up, the Bad Plus Farewell Tour.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with breaking news from Annandale, Virginia.
Former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife inside of their home and then shot and killed himself.
Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis says the couple's teenage son called 911.
There's been divorce proceedings that have been ongoing. Former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding that apparently led to this incident last night.
Fairfax, a Democrat, served as lieutenant governor from 2018 to 2022. He was accused of sexual assault by two women in 2019, but denied the allegations and finished his term. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the military is ready to resume operations against Iran if it doesn't agree to U.S. terms for a peace deal.
During a Pentagon briefing, Hegseth said the U.S. knows which military assets Iran has left and is watching Iran move them.
Our forces are maximally postured to restart combat operations should this new Iranian regime choose poorly and not agree to a deal.
Hegseth said the U.S. controls the Strait of Hormuz, not Iran. He also criticized some of the media coverage of the war.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out what side some of you are actually on. It's incredibly unpatriotic.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
England's Archbishop of Canterbury, Sally Mullally, says she just called Pope Leo's courageous call for peace after a war of words with President Trump. As the war drags on, a stark warning from the head of the International Energy Agency, Fatih Birol.
In Europe, we have maybe 6 weeks or so jet fuel left.
He's warning of possible flight cancellations soon. Multiple reports warn budget-friendly Spirit Airlines may go under for good. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve from Bush Intercontinental in Houston.
As the price of jet fuel has nearly doubled since January, driven by the conflict in Iran, airline sources now tell CBS News some of Spirit's creditors question the airline's ability to make debt payments or return to profitability, which could lead the discount carrier to run out of financial runway.
Health Secretary Kennedy is testifying on Capitol Hill right now, defending President Trump's plan to slash his department's budget by more than 12%. Kennedy says we need to spend more on preventing chronic illness, not treating it.
Parents across the country demanded change, and we are delivering it. We are ending the era of federal policies that fueled the chronic disease epidemic and replacing them with policies that put the health of Americans first.
This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
7:03. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic.
And just got some positive news to start the 7 o'clock hour. The crash we've been dealing with in Spanaway on SR7 has cleared. They've actually opened up all the lanes, which is quite positive and a little unexpected because they had power lines down and power poles down. So whatever they were able to do, they shoved it out of the way quickly. Backups are going to go away. Just give yourself a little extra time if you're coming up. This is just south of the Walmart as you work your way up into the Spanaway area. So that's certainly positive. Olympia to Tacoma, not too bad. And the brake lights we have right around the Tacoma Dome are not as bad as they could be. We had an earlier crash near the Port of Tacoma Road, so we're only losing a couple of minutes there. Some brake lights up the hill to 18, and then Federal Way to Seattle's running right around 50 minutes. It looks like the crash that we had just before the Michigan curve there at the north end of Boeing Field is no longer blocking the HOV lane because we've turned from all red to yellow on the map there, which is great. Valley Freeway, about 45 to 48 minutes from end to end. Renton to Bellevue is about a half an hour. Lake Bridges are still good. Coming down from the north end, whatever we had near 112th and South Everett appears to have taken care of itself. Just have a little hesitation there past the Boeing Freeway, and then we have a pretty heavy drive from Canyon Park on down, so it's about an hour from Everett to Bellevue and about 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle. This report brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. With all the high gas prices, now's the time to buy a hybrid or all-electric at Subaru of Puyallup. Great selection, pricing right there at your stress-free dealership, SubaruPuyallup.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. At 7:04, Seattle residents could soon feel the impact of the AI boom in their wallets.
3 companies are exploring plans to build massive new data centers in the city, projects that could consume as much as a third of Seattle's power supply.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey joins us live with more.
Yeah, and the million-dollar question, it could really be millions of dollars here. How much electricity will these data centers actually need? Well, Andy Strong with Seattle City Light tells us there's no exact estimate.
It's speculative to know how much of a load these additional data centers will bring.
However, there is one estimate out there based on average consumption. It's close to 390 or 80 megawatts, somewhere in that range. How much is that? Well, that's enough to power about 300,000 homes in the city. And Economics 101 here, the more demand for electricity, the higher the cost for electricity. Strong says they do, though, have a new draft policy on Mayor Katie Wilson's desk, working with the mayor's office to make sure large load customers do not drive up rates for everyone else.
It's going to take some time to review with the mayor's office all options that we have to protect our ratepayers.
And right now, they're defining in that policy, he says, large load customers as consuming 10 megawatts, and we're talking about 390 or so here. Right now, these 3 companies are going through what's called a cluster study with City Light. How much will the plans actually cost? Infrastructure, what do they need, and how much electricity will they use up exactly? Very early stages here. They could all pull out of this. City Light says they're also looking to the future, though, beyond just data centers. So here's another layer of issue for them and challenge. There's a nationwide movement toward electrification, of course, more electric vehicles, more buildings, electricity powering a lot more things. 3 companies, who are they? You probably never heard of them. I could list the name, but you'll say, who's that? The point is they could be working for big tech companies, and most likely they are. Last week, in a letter to shareholders, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said AWS expects to spend roughly, get this, $200 billion on capital expenditures this year, with the lion's share going toward AI development. AWS, by far, builds more data centers than any other company around the world. Last year, Microsoft President Brad Smith announced a 5-point plan for all future data centers to pay their own way, pay for their own electricity, their power grid, build a power grid if they have to.
When we go to local communities today, in contrast to, say, a year or two ago, people do have questions. They're pointed questions. What does this mean for our electricity price? What does it mean for our water supply? What does it really mean? Who's really going to fill the jobs that are created here?
Yeah, so why would a company like Microsoft say that and release a 5-point plan? Because they're growing and they know they have to, and maybe they're trying to get ahead of that news cycle as well. I mean, I think they're probably, want to do the right thing, but, there's a growing political resistance to data center growth as well. The state of Maine is now considering a state law to impose a moratorium on data centers. They don't want blackouts. They don't want their water systems, damaged here potentially because you need water to cool data centers. They don't want the high bills for customers either.
But right now, no date set at all for when these data centers could be built in Seattle.
No. Really, really early on. But just the fact that they're talking is significant.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey joining us live.
Hail, lightning, a water spout over Puget Sound. Yesterday afternoon was pretty wild across the Seattle area. The National Weather Service says a strong cold front moved in, dropping quarter-inch hail on Seattle about 2:45. And then that water spout was spotted about 3 miles west of Magnolia about 3 o'clock. Meteorologist Logan Howard tells the Seattle Times that's basically a tornado over the water and quite rare for this part of the country. Parts of the region also dealt with thunder, frost, and snow. Here's the bright side. Tonight, Seattle gets its first 8 p.m. sunset of the year.
Late season snow in the mountain passes forced drivers to navigate slush and ice on I-90, shutting the interstate down at one point after crashes in both directions. KIRO 7's Jack Bilyeu caught up with some drivers in North Bend.
Many drivers chose to tap out instead of facing the heavy snow, leaving the interstate to be lined with parked 18-wheelers. Other drivers didn't choose to avoid the snow. They were forced to.
I mean, if it comes down to it, we might just spend the night here,
These guys came to North Bend to buy a car, but the deal didn't work out. They didn't bring chains because they didn't expect to get caught in a snowstorm in April.
And Sully, do we still have that traction tire advisory in the mountain passes?
Yeah, advisories are still where they are for Stevens, White, and Snoqualmie. I'm checking every so often to see if they update that, but right now we're kind of status quo.
7:09.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Good morning. It's 7:09. It's Thursday, April 16th, or as we like to call it, Friday Eve.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Charlie Harger. That's Manda Factor. Producer David Burbank is in the studio, as is traffic guru Sully. Sully is here.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be a guru?
I don't know if I really have guru status.
I think so.
Know.
You're my go-to guy.
Poobah.
Yeah.
Guru makes me sound so important.
Nate Connor.
Well, you are.
Nate Connors is also a guru, I will say that.
Yes, he is.
All right. Nick Krasia is at the board picking all the tunes, and we have John Repp out in the newsroom.
Traffic guru, what's coming up in your choke point?
This could be a fun half an hour for you. Charlie and I both are diving into several our transit systems. Charlie's, I'll let him tease his ahead, but mine is looking at Sound Transit and the choice they've got to make. Do they really want people to pay the fares, and what's it going to take to make that happen?
And you're going to be surprised to learn in my 7:35 commentary, we have fare enforcement officers, 30 people working full-time for Metro. How many tickets they issued last year? We'll have that coming up at 7:35.
All right, as long as we're talking transportation, Sound Transit's planned light rail extension into Everett might not happen as quickly as planned as the agency looks to cut costs.
The project was originally slated for 2036, but with rising construction costs and Sound Transit now facing a $34.5 billion deficit, the project could be delayed.
KIRO 7's Jake Chapman reports hundreds of Everett residents packed a Sound Transit town hall meeting earlier this week to urge the agency to reconsider.
Seattle police have cleared an open-air stolen goods market near 3rd and Virginia in downtown Seattle. Police held the Jason Ranch show on Seattle Red 770 AM. They've not made any arrests, but they will if they can prove the goods being sold were stolen, as some people suspect. Seattle Red reports the open-air market had been around for at least 6 weeks before police broke it up.
It's 7:11. It's not often we talk about pro wrestling here on Seattle's Morning News. However,
we can make an exception
because we're friends with a world champion.
You're
well,
a friend.
Sully's not friend.
I'm not really. Apparently, he's going to throw me off the Space Needle.
Darby Allin pulled off a stunner last night at Angel of the Winds Arena in Everett. He beat MJF on AEW Dynamite to become the new world champ. We talked to him earlier on Seattle's Morning News, and he told us when he first walked into the Buddy Wayne Academy in Everett to train, he was either going to make it as Darby or fail as Darby.
I'm fighting for the world championship as myself. I hadn't changed a single thing.
And he did it. In case you missed it, Allin graduated from Tahoma High School.
7:12 now. It's time to get a check on the weather. The wild stuff behind us. We have a pretty mild weekend in front of us, Nick Howard.
It's nice to see that, isn't it? Yeah, we've one heck of a day yesterday with thunderstorms and hail and all sorts of stuff happening, water spouts. But today, we still have at least a few areas where, you might have a shower or two, say in and around the foothills. We've had some pockets of some snow or some wet snow, but all that's going to go away. And the fog and cold weather we have this morning away from there, like in Olympia, where it's been really chilly and maybe even a little slick, all that's going to end. And we're just going to see increasing sunshine. And I think today it'll be a couple degrees below average. I think right now we're going to go from, the 20s and 30s, because Olympia's like 27, Seattle's about 37, 38, but to 56 to 59 this afternoon. And then tomorrow with about the same kind of sunshine, about 59 to 60. This weekend still looks like you're going to see more clouds, but right now mainly dry. If we were to see a shower, it'd mainly be Sunday, and I think it's partly to mostly cloudy in the mid-60s, above average and nice and calm. And even to start next week in the upper 60s, low 70s, and staying dry until Wednesday. But I'm ready for, yesterday's fun, and then I'm ready for it to be yesterday for a while. That's good.
For sure. Right now in Seattle, 37 and partly cloudy.
It's 7:13, time for traffic. We do that every 10 minutes for you. Here's Sully.
And because it's relatively calm out there weather-wise, it's not too bad of a drive. I'm going to start with the drive out of the north end, where we are seeing very heavy brake lights, but nothing unusually so from Linwood down the 405 corridor down into about the 522 interchange there with the Bothell-Woodinville area. It's about 40 minutes from Linwood and an hour all the way from Bellevue, and of course, to Bellevue, and of course,
it's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
$15 in that express toll lane coming down from Linwood. Everett to Seattle, 10 minutes faster. 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle, about 30 out of Linwood. Valley Freeway, just some off and on braking in the usual suspect locations. We've got 45 minutes from Puyallup to Renton, 25 of that out of Auburn, and then about a half an hour from Renton to Bellevue. The S-curves are active, but by the time you're up to 44th, it's really not too bad. Federal Way to Seattle back under 50 now that we have cleared the crash. Well, crash is over on the left shoulder. It's no longer blocking the HOV lane as you get up towards the top end of Boeing Field. So again, 45 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Tacoma to Federal Way still running around 17, 18 minutes, a couple of minutes behind schedule. We had an earlier crash right there at the Port of Tacoma Road. The Lake Bridges, though, are in very good shape. This traffic report is brought to you by me, KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan. I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's Morning News.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
You can't have all the titles. You're a conduit and a guru.
I'm many things to many people.
Conda Guru.
Oh, Conda Guru. I like that.
All right. Well, cutting service, bailing on Ballard, West Seattle, Everett, Tacoma, eliminating stations. Everything's on the table as Sound Transit looks to fill a $34 billion budget hole.
Sully has a few ideas. Perhaps Sound Transit should rein in the customers and require fare payments.
Shocking. Perhaps. Now, again, to preface this whole conversation, recouping fare money at the box isn't going to solve the $34 billion budget hole. It's probably not going to be a major amount, but it's something. And when you're looking for anything, something is important. So light rail riders used to pay nearly every time. Fare compliance was north of 90% in the 2010s. That's when the service started between Seattle and Tukwila before expanding to the airport, Angle Lake, and then University of Washington during the 2010s. But during the pandemic, fare compliance cratered. According to the latest numbers from Sound Transit, which come from the year 2024, about 61% of riders actually pay when they get on board light rail today. 61%. It's not good, but it's up from 55% coming out of the pandemic. So we're moving in the right direction, but still, that's pretty pathetic. One dynamic contributing to that number is actually, you got to think about this because everything's factored in here. Anyone under 19 rides for free now, right? So those boardings they count into that kind of technically, well, they're boarding, but they're not paying a fare. So I want to be fair to Sound Transit in all of this. That's F-A-I-R, not F-A-R-E. So, of course, Sound Transit checked for fares when service started. Really hasn't checked for fares in any meaningful way since the defund the police movement forced the agency to kick fare enforcement officers off of the trains. The fare ambassadors that replace them really don't put any fear into riders. They certainly aren't checking when thousands of riders pour out of the stadiums and get onto the trains after games. And why is a lack of fare enforcement important? When your agency is bleeding money and facing a $34 billion budget hole, maybe having paying customers would help. Sound Transit promised voters it would get 40% of its overall funding from fares. The agency has since lowered its expectations to 17%. And as of today, the actual number is just 12%. Maybe it's time to start collecting fare money. And to Sound Transit's credit, it is considering a pilot project that would install fare gates or turnstiles, as the rest of the world calls them and as the rest of the world uses them, at several of the stations to make sure riders are paying.
What I care about the most is encouraging people to pay the fares and making sure that they do.
That is Sound Transit board member Claudia Balducci, who believes that adding fare gates could make a difference.
There may be some locations where turnstiles are the answer. There's just too much fare jumping and we want to block it off. But I don't think we need to do it at every single one of these stations. And what I want to do is be data-based about it.
A pilot project, if adopted, would study fare gates at 5 of the busiest locations. Balducci thinks that's a good idea because she doesn't believe every station would need them.
I am most interested in doing what will get people to pay the fares. And I don't know that we need to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in retrofitting all our stations to make that happen.
The million-dollar question here, though, is why did so many riders suddenly stop paying? A lot of people believe it's a lack of enforcement. There are a lot of different answers for that particular question, and it basically comes down to yourself as a transit rider. All Balducci really cares about here is that she sees that fare compliance going back up.
It is a huge part of our funding, and there is definitely something to the fares are the way we all contribute to the system that we all benefit from, and it makes people care more for that system because they're contributing to it. So there's lots of reasons why fares are important.
I remember asking Sound Transit 15 years ago why fare gates were not installed on the front end. I was told that Seattle is not a turnstile city. That's not who we are. Not sure what that meant then. I still don't know what that means today.
I was just going to ask.
But one of the main reasons turnstiles were not installed on the front end is because Sound Transit chose to put a lot of the tracks at grade or at street level. Imagine turnstiles at all the stops up and down MLK. People would just walk around them, which would mean they would have pedestrians in the roads or walking on the tracks. Not exactly safe, and really probably not a good reason to put gates at every station. But how about at a lot of them, or at some of them? Something needs to be done, because Sound Transit has a choice. Force its customers to actually pay for its service, or keep bleeding red ink. And when you're facing a $34 billion hole, any little bit in the bank account helps.
So I was reading this, Steve Murch, who posts a lot on X, he talked about what happened in San Francisco where they started to install those fare gates. They started making an extra $10 million a year because of this, and less corrective maintenance, as they call it, so less vandalism at the stations with the gates, graffiti, cleaning in the paid areas. So it can work in San Francisco in terms of its politics, very similar to Seattle.
But again, as we said, $10 million a year isn't going to fix a $34 billion hole.
Something.
But a little bit is a little bit. And you talk about some of the ancillary things, less cleanup, less graffiti, maybe less crime. Think of some of the stations that we have that are very, very crime-ridden. I'm thinking of the one, kind of there by Goodwill, kind of coming out of the, in that general area of downtown. If you didn't have access to the platform where a lot of that crime is happening because you had to pay, or maybe if you were jumping, if there was a deterrent to that, maybe we would have that kind of effect as well. So I think it's something that's worth, do they need to be everywhere? I don't know, but I think it's somewhat insane.
I'm curious.
To not force your passengers to pay.
Councilmember Balducci says something about
not wanting to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in the turnstiles. Is that really what the price tag would be like?
Well, I mean, there are 40 stations right now. Yeah. And so some of them, I mean, you could see how that could balloon into what you would have to do to kind of retrofit those stations. I'm sure. And in this state, we know how to spend taxpayer money really well, so I'm sure they'd be the greatest turnstiles in the history of the world. Diamond encrusted, and no, I'm joking.
So here was the estimate in San Francisco. This, again, according to Steve Murch, is that it was a total cost of $90 million to install the gates, $125,000 a pop. But over the long term, after the first 9 years of this being in place, that's when it starts paying for itself.
Yeah, and I can see that. But I'm not as familiar with BART as I should be, because that's what we're talking about. But do they have as many at-grade stations as we do, or do they have places where more like a traditional, like an L, or somewhere, or working around the Beltway where you have to go to there's certain stations and you go and that's just where they are, as opposed to just a place where you can catch a train like you can on MLK. But I'm all for it. Well, let's give it a try.
I'm still stuck on Seattle is not a turnstile city. I mean, I don't get it.
It's not who we are, Amanda.
Apparently.
You apparently don't get it.
We have to pay for what we're supposed to pay for?
Yeah, that was a weird answer 15 years ago. It still is a weird answer to me today. But to Sound Transit's credit, they're looking at this. I think maybe getting actual cops back on the trains might be helpful. I think we'll take maybe our cues from Redmond and Bellevue, as they now have service and dedicated units there for light rail, to see if that makes a difference.
Coming up in 12 minutes, for King County Metro buses, they hired 30 fare enforcement officers, and there's a new report out about how successful they were last year in their first 6 months of service.
I can't wait to hear.
30 full-time employees working 40,000 hours as fare enforcement officers. Wait till you hear how many citations and tickets were issued.
I'm really excited to see how well the system is working.
Okay.
I can't wait. All right. It's 7:23. Time for a check on traffic, Sully.
And that's what you call the Charlie Harger, Chris Sullivan Transit Trouble 2 for Thursday.
Love it.
We'll be doing it again next Thursday. Charlie, start working on your commentary. Right now, we are enjoying a pretty decent drive. All in all, we're in very good shape. Not a lot of accidents left over to get in our way, and the travel times are about what you would expect. If you're coming down from the north end, we are going to see braking right there by the Boeing Freeway on southbound 5, but it doesn't really extend much past 112. And then the rest of the way on down, it's relatively normal. I mean, an hour from Everett to Bellevue, 50 minutes Everett to Seattle's kind of standard. Now, at the east end of the trestle, however, we do have some slowing down the hill out of 204. We might have a crash right at that merge point there. I'm checking into that. That happened during my high horse discussion the last couple of minutes. Rented to Bellevue, we have about a half an hour. Not bad. Behind that, maybe a half an hour up from Auburn. Breaks in the usual places, but overall about 52 minutes from Puyallup. Federal Way to Seattle, under 50. The Lake Bridges are still fine. So for Thursday, we're in good shape. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Well, the stormy weather is behind us. A nice patch in front of us. We're heading for partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. 56 are high. 59 on Friday. Mid-60s. Partly cloudy this weekend. 37 right now in Seattle.
And coming up on Seattle's Morning News, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey on the life of Joel Connelly, a staple of political journalism here in Seattle. He died this week, and Luke Ducey will take a look back at his life. It's 7:25.
Well, you ever have one of those mornings where you're already behind, you can't find what you need, closet's a mess, your pantry is overflowing, your garage is basically unusable? Well, you're not doing anything wrong. Most homes just weren't set up to work the way we actually live. Charlie Harger here for Closets by Design. And it isn't just closets. It's your garage being straight enough that you can park your car, pantry you can actually use. Laundry rooms, home offices, wall beds. That's what we're looking at the Harger House. Entertainment centers, mudrooms, everything. And here's the key. It's all custom built in Kent. Nothing for your home, designed for your home, your routines, nothing off a shelf, nothing pre-made. When things are designed right, your day just goes smoother, less clutter, less frustration. Everything has a place, finally. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Wowie! What's with the water heater's worn out?
Way less hot water?
Takes a lot longer, too.
Sounds like a goner.
Worst of all?
What?
Wasn't planning on it.
We can help.
Apollo Plumbing.
Ready right now to get you
in hot water.
Same day.
Not this day. My budget.
How about with easy payments?
How much easy?
Around $50 a month with approved credit.
A new water heater?
50 gallons of 100% hot water delight.
For about $50 a month.
51, 52 to be precise.
And you can do it
today, if that's what you need.
Is it ever?
Apollo installs new ones with code upgrades.
Can't beat that.
Actually, I can.
What?
Your same-day water heater replacement includes Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Which means?
Apollo Plumbing covers your new water heater for life.
You mean should it ever wear out?
Apollo Plumbing replaces it free.
And if it needs service?
Service is included for our A-list members.
Wow!
Your new water heater is ready
right now
at ApolloPlumbing.com.
Get out in the sun, get your hands in the soil. A little gardening goes a long way. Hi, I'm Sarah from Sky Nursery in Shoreline. April is a great time to grow your connection to nature. Whether it's native fir trees in your backyard, a thriving patch of flowers, or a walk through your local arboretum. Whatever your adventure, there is something beautiful to discover. Our purpose at Sky Nursery is to support you on your gardening journey with quality plants, supplies, and local knowledge. Celebrate Earth Day, Arbor Day, and Native Plant Month with Sky Nursery. Garden tips and info at skynursery.com.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. Oh!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Your new home for Tesla, EV, and hybrid maintenance is A&M Auto Repair in Bellevue with dealer-level diagnostics, electrical, mechanical, and suspension repairs. Find A&M Auto Repair in Bellevue online at myevpros.com or 425-96-EV-FIX.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 7:30. The world of journalism lost a good one yesterday.
Former Seattle PI reporter and columnist Joel Connelly has died, but not before he touched the lives of so many of us in one way or another.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here to reflect on his life and the lasting impact across the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, Connelly's resume speaks for itself, really. I mean, the Seattle PI, senior fellow at the Northwest Progressive Institute. He wrote commentary and columns for Post Alley, and he contributed to the Cascadia Advocate. But he also made impact on all of us. So many people across the region with his reporting, whether you realize it or not. One of Connelly's former colleagues at the PI, Casey McNerthney, who you know now is the spokesperson for the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, well, he shared an interview he recorded with Joel, and he asked him, how do you keep up with all those stories out there?
You try to multitask. I got a whole bunch of interests and a lot of experience covering things in the state. There's still a little bit of drive in me, particularly to try to save places, keep us from being Californicated. And beyond that, you simply have to act quickly.
Casey also asked Joel, what's fun about being a reporter?
I write politics. I write politics in the first state in the country to legalize marijuana, first state in the country to legalize marriage equality. We set the pace for a lot of people around the country in this state, for good, or some would say for ill.
Joel certainly seized every moment he could while he was here. He gave a voice to those who didn't feel they had one. And as a political reporter, well, he held our politicians to the fire, keeping them honest. And he did it in a fair and balanced way. How do you know that? Well, you know that when former governors send out social media messages about you. And when in your passing, former Governor Jay Inslee shared on social media just recently, Washington lost a good writer, and about the natural beauty of our state. Current Governor Bob Ferguson said, Joel had a real gift for weaving our state's political history into his stories. I had the good fortune of getting to know Joel well, and I'm saddened by his death. Joel's family shared in a public message he had been struggling with his health recently. One of his goals was to keep writing, and he did, right up to the moment they say his body failed him. Connelly died peacefully with his loved ones by his side. He was 78 years old.
Thank you, Luke. It's 7:33 now.
That's time for a check on traffic. And let's get right back over to Chris Sullivan.
And we have jumped up to about an hour now on both of the drives of I-5 and 405 as you come down from Everett, with about 40 of those minutes from Linwood, maybe a little heavier from Linwood down to Bellevue at about 45 minutes. The brake lights there shouldn't surprise you if that's what you do daily as we deal with the slowing. We're a little extra braking today on southbound I-5 right there at the Boeing Freeway in South Everett. Haven't found any particular reason for it other than volume and some merging. I'm checking back, going to refresh the cams here in a second. Looking at northbound 405 through the Renton S-curves, kind of an average day for you guys, 35 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. There is some southbound slowing on 405 right there into Tukwila. Looks like we have a crash before you get over to I-5. Northbound 167, we have another crash to tell you about. This one's fresh, just inside of 180th, going northbound. Not sure which lane, but that's one of the reasons why we've jumped up to 30 minutes out of Auburn and 50 all the way from Puyallup. So we've added 5 minutes there. Federal Way to Seattle, about 50 minutes as well. The heaviest spot during the north end of Boeing Field up past the West Seattle Bridge. Lake bridges are fine. Eastbound 16 seeing the slowing we normally get this time of day around Cheney Stadium. This report brought to you by Carpet Liquidators. Get your entire home installed for just $99. At Carpet Liquidators, from carpet to flooring, Carpet Liquidators has got you covered.
I meant to mention before we came to you that traffic is moving on northbound I-5 south of Bellingham again after that month-long closure. That was a mess.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, very. Good on them for getting it done yesterday afternoon. Yep. A little ahead of schedule. Not an easy job.
Nope, but it's all
not an easy job.
Beautiful day, mostly sunny, 56 for today. Nice break after yesterday. Tomorrow looks nice too, should warm up to about 59. And then the weekend, so nice. We'll see a mix of clouds and sun with highs, how about the mid-60s? Right now in Seattle, the sun coming up, it's 38.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
7:35 now, and Sully, how are we branding this again?
This is the Harger and Sullivan, take it whichever way you want to go, but a transit trouble 2 for Thursday.
Okay, so here's the commentary. I read an article in The Urbanist yesterday. It was a story about King County Metro's fare enforcement program, and it was so over-the-top ludicrous. I read it twice and went and pulled the actual report thinking there's no way The Urbanist could be right. Well, they restarted fare enforcement on Metro buses last May. They hired 30 full-time fare enforcement officers. I want you to guess right now. That's 30 full-time employees fare enforcing the buses. We know at least 35% of all riders don't pay the fare. Using those numbers, how many people do you think got citations between May and the end of December? Thought it out? Okay, well, a grand total of 8 citations were issued. And all of those citations were actually voided. Nobody got fined. Metro says riders gave bad contact information, no phone number, a shelter address, something that didn't exist. So no way to follow up. Citations gone. So that's 30 officers deployed full-time starting in May, 40 hours a week. That is nearly 40,000 combined hours through the end of December. They did issue a little more than 2,000 warnings, but 8 citations, not one resolved, 0. The fine, if anyone had actually paid, would have been $20. Nobody paid. $3 million budgeted for this program in 2026. Not a single rider fined. Now, here's why. Metro didn't design this system. The King County Council did. And the council's concern is that actual enforcement, real citations, real consequences, might fall unevenly across different groups. So they built a system where fair enforcement officers aren't really there to enforce. They're there to connect riders to resources, to educate, to build what Metro spokesperson Jeff Schweitzer calls a culture of riding right. Schweitzer said, and I want to read this aloud carefully, the most important job of fair enforcement is not to issue citations. The most important job, according to Schweitzer, is to make sure they understand Metro's expectations and create access to fares that are affordable to them. The most important job is not enforcement. It is awareness. And the report, the official report to the King County Council, is full of the language you'd expect. Addressing institutional harm. Building fair enforcement intentionally. He even mentions the FIFA World Cup. Of course it does. A guy named Ryle Goodrich posted something on X yesterday that cuts right to it. He wrote, "The best hiding spot for every bad decision in this county is right behind an equity defense. Why can't we have safe transit, educate our kids, get more for our taxes, get people off the streets and into shelter? Well, that wouldn't be equitable." Sandeep Kaushik, a longtime Democratic political consultant in Seattle, responded. He said equity, understood correctly, can identify real systemic problems worth fixing. But applied in a blunt way, where any policy that produces different outcomes between groups is automatically disqualified, well, equity becomes then a destructive idea. And that's exactly what happened here. Think about the working mom in Rainier Beach who loads her Orca card every month. Student at Seattle Central who pays her fare because nobody told her she didn't have to. Senior on a fixed income taps in every single time. They are doing the right thing every day. And when fare revenue keeps collapsing, it's their service that gets cut, their routes that get reduced, their commute that gets longer. And what does the system say to them? It says, we hired 30 people and spent 40,000 hours making sure nobody felt bad about not paying. Who is that equitable for exactly? Well, that's the 735 commentary for Thursday, April 16th, 2026. You can text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line, 888-973-5476. You can watch our live stream and chat on YouTube at KIRO Newsradio, and you can always leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself. It's 7:40. I know you won't.
I think I've come to a revelation here over the last 25 minutes.
Yeah.
That government in Seattle and Washington thinks there are parents, and they're doing a horrible job as parents. They're terrible parents. Without consequences, there is nothing. This is maddening. So we wait. How much is that? 40,000 hours? 40. It
was $1.5 million last year.
Stop it. You're not our parents. Get your blank together and pay your damn fares.
What's coming up in traffic?
God. Oh, it's incensing. We're going to look at southbound off 405 right there through the Family Fun Center. That has nothing to do with it. It's catching strays. Two right lanes there.
When you're mad.
I know. I'm not. That's all coming up next on Seattle's Morning
Hey there, Dawn Riding with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready to create your home wellness retreat? Whether you love a relaxing session in infrared or traditional steam heat, we have the perfect Tilo sauna waiting for you. Up your wellness game by building your own contrast therapy studio, featuring a new sauna and our amazing Vigor Cold Plunge. Buy both and save up to $5,000. Savings end April 30th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
If you've lived in the Northwest for more than 5 minutes, you already know the Subaru Outback. It's the car I drive, and I bought it at Carter Subaru, Seattle's only Subaru dealership. Ursula Reutin here. Right now, the 2026 Subaru Outback comes with 3.9% APR financing. It's the perfect car for Pacific Northwest driving. Visit Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability, a documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized costs. See dealer for details. Valid through 4/30/26.
Holy smokes! The On Cruise Adventures Rick Riz Show.
What happened at the ballpark yesterday?
Sparky's sitting on my scorebook here, my cat.
Friday mornings at 8:15 on Seattle's Morning News.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Well, it's 7:43. It's time to check traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Deep breaths.
What's happening, Sully?
Quiet thoughts. Southbound 405 in the Renton area, actually closer to the Family Fun Center there in Tukwila. We got a crash involving a couple of different cars that are kind of face the wrong direction. They're kind of all over the place, and the first responders haven't even gotten there yet. The two right lanes are blocked, and I'm expecting they're probably going to block most of the road except for that far left lane or the HOV lane here shortly. So that's our one real significant issue. We do have a crash on northbound 167. I haven't been able to find it, but I know it's there. My drivers have told me inside of 180th, causing a little bit of braking getting to 405. So that's why we're up over 30 minutes from Auburn into Renton, probably 35 now, which gets us closer to an hour to run all the way from the Puyallup area. Speaking of Puyallup in the South Hill, it looks like we have a crash impacting both directions of 512, just west of the South Hill, the exit there. So see some slowing both up and down the hill. The Federal Way to Seattle Drive, about 50 minutes, nothing that you can't handle. Lake bridges are still fine. Coming down from the north end, we're still struggling with about an hour drive from Everett to Seattle, about an hour and 5 from Everett to Bellevue. Not as bad as it could be, but you're getting through it. And 204 and 2 a little slow approaching the east end of the trestle, but you get through it okay as well. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Nice little patch of weather in front of us. We're headed for a high of 56 today, partly to mostly sunny. And the next few days, we start to warm up. By the weekend, we'll be at the mid-60s. Right now in Seattle, we have partly cloudy skies, and we've jumped up to 40 degrees.
It's now 7:44. Coming up, big day on Capitol Hill for Health Secretary RFK Jr. He's going to testify to defend his choices in his first year of office. We're going to get a full preview with Anna Koyman, anchor of News Nation Now, coming up next on Seattle's Morning News.
Now, word for the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do right now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement: tax planning. The right tax planning can significantly reduce what you owe on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, your Social Security benefits, your investment income. And it's not just for 1 year. It could be for the rest of your life. Savings could be six figures. The team at Boss Retirement Solutions wants to show you exactly how much. Schedule your free retirement tax savings analysis. Call them 206-210-1350, 206-210-1350. One thing could change everything. Boss Retirement Solutions, 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional.
If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
7:48 now. Well, it's been a 10-year marked with upheaval, mass layoffs, and lawsuits for Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who appears in front of a group of congressional committees today and throughout the weekend to defend his and President Trump's plans to cut the budget at the Department of Health and Human Services.
Well, let's bring in News Nation anchor Anna Koyman for a preview. Anna, good morning. Could you give us just a little refresher? What are some of the big things he has done?
Yeah, so listen, this is actually cooking right now. My team and I have been watching it unfold, as we speak. But this really it's the first big public test of whether Secretary Kennedy is going to be able to sell Congress on this health overhaul that he's really had. And it's going to go well beyond all the rhetoric and all that we have been tracking ahead of the midterms, too. Secretary Kennedy and President Trump, both of them know just how valuable this MAHA voting bloc was for Republican victories in 2024. So they're feeling like they really need to win this one, especially with the president's approval ratings plummeting following this war that we've been getting into with Iran. So Kennedy is scheduled to testify, as you mentioned, not just in front of the House and Ways and Means Committee that's happening right now, but other testimony he's going to be giving as well in other hearings. So the White House is pushing this fiscal year 2027 HHS budget that's raising some eyebrows. It calls for about $111 billion in discretionary funding, but that's about a $15.8 billion cut from current levels. So that's more than 10%. That's about 12% there. And today is about more than just defending this budget, though. It's about defending his entire remake of the agency. So I imagine you want to know a bit more about what this remake essentially has been creating the controversy about. So I can dive into that deeper more if you want to.
Yeah, just maybe some of the highlights of the big budget cuts that are being proposed here.
Right. So one of the big flashpoints is the shakeup inside the country's top health agencies. So there have been grant terminations. There have been EPA programs that have been rolled back that have been unpopular with the MAHA base, which, of course, does not fall under HHS, but it's certainly, creating waves and rifts in his base. But this budget plan, it calls for cuts at the NIH. It eliminates some centers. It folds a range of programs into a new entity that the administration is calling the Administration for a Healthy America. And the White House says that this fits into its Make America Healthy Again push, with more focus on chronic disease and less on what it calls bureaucratic overlap. But critics see a real risk to research and public health capacity and scientific independence as well. And one surprising cut, I think, that it surprised me, frankly, to see is that among the cuts, one of the programs that would be cut is focused on alternative medicine. And of course, that's something that is very popular. Alternative therapies are very popular with the Maha base. So anyway, as we're watching this hearing today, as we monitor this for you, we're also looking ahead to November. And some Maha leaders are growing disenchanted after Trump again has signed that executive order to ramp up production of a pesticide called glyphosate that you've likely heard of, that's sprayed on all sorts of
Roundup.
The fruits and that's right. That's exactly right. The main ingredient in Roundup. And they feel like the administration has not been doing enough for that to protect our food supply, when Kennedy is saying he is trying to clean up our food supply. So there has been a bit of a split there, some cracks, as some would call it. So again, the testimony that Kennedy is giving right now is not just to appease Congress, but really the American people, and he's hoping that, sound bites will be in his favor with his base so that his boss, President Trump, is happy with him. So the hearing started today at 9 o'clock. We're going to continue monitoring it.
From what you've seen so far, what's the tone, Anna?
Combative, again. I'd say combative again. I mean, you probably remember the hearings back in September. Do you remember seeing that? And there was a lot of sparring, and it wasn't just from the other side of the aisle. It wasn't just Democrats. You even saw Senator Bill Cassidy, taking him to task as well. Senator Cassidy, of course, is a physician himself. So I would say combative. And Politico had a report out this morning about what Kennedy's likely game plan would be, and it was that he was going to try to focus on the issues that are really popular with the American people right now. It's pretty popular to try to clean up our food supply and get out ingredients in our food that aren't necessarily safe, that have been put into our foods by food companies while they're policing themselves, essentially, because of a loophole, or his supporters call it a loophole, that generally recognized as safe. They're able to get all these ingredients into our foods that in some cases are not allowed in other countries overseas. And so he's going to try to focus on those types of issues rather than the more controversial issues regarding vaccines and things. Of course, there have been lawsuits with that. If you remember, over the last summer, the CDC director was, some would say was pushed out by RFK, and they still don't have a CDC director right now. And then also, there isn't a surgeon general, an acting surgeon, or there isn't a new surgeon general right now. Dr. Casey Means, who's that functional medicine physician, she testified. I'm trying to remember. It seems like it was maybe a month ago or so, but it's now her approval is now stalled in the Senate right now. She's also a wellness influencer.
Anna Koyman, it's always great having you on. Anna's the anchor of News Nation Now. Thank you, Anna. It's time to get a quick check on traffic at 7:54.
And we got a big problem in the Tukwila-Renton area. 2 lanes of southbound 405 are blocked as you get to the Family Fun Center, and we're causing about a 15-minute delay coming down southbound 405 through the area. This is also causing a huge backup in the northbound 167 corridor for people who are trying to use that ramp. And so we're backed up bumper to bumper from 180th. Give yourself about 30 minutes out of Auburn, and 50 plus all the way from Puyallup. Left lane is blocked on westbound 512 as you get up to the top of South Hill. The rest of the map looks about normal. We'll give you the travel times for everyone coming up next in 10 minutes. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
The sun is shining. It's here to stay for the day, today and tomorrow. 56 our high. It's 38 right now.
More of the day's top stories on the way, including the potential for AI data centers in Seattle. That's coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
The John Curley Show.
If by like the 15th of October rolls around and suddenly there's a bolt of lightning and I croak out right there, I'm fine.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
My dream of growing a giant pumpkin is just a couple of months away. I know somebody who knows somebody who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows someone who got me the seed, the 1,500-pounder, baby. It's in a secret location. I don't want to say where it is.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know the key to a long-lasting roof is yearly maintenance. Need an inspection, repair, restoration, moss removal, or just a cleanup? You can trust Guardian's licensed, insured, and expertly trained team. We offer free estimates, second opinions, and financing, giving you the peace of mind your home deserves. Call today. Our first-time customers can save $99 on our award-winning roof repair and cleaning service. Visit us at guardianroofing.com.
511 is now part of Seattle, and they're celebrating at South Center Mall this Saturday, April 18th. 511 makes purpose-built gear, including pants, shirts, bags, and more, built to handle whatever your day throws at you. Be one of the first 100 people in line and get a free gift. Then check out the 511 Adventure Area and test your skills on the rock climbing wall. Join them from 10 to 6, one day only. Saturday, April 18th at South Center.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Get down with Casey and the Sunshine Band when they take the stage at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Sunday, May 17th at 8 p.m. The iconic 70s group has toured around the world, and now they're bringing their blend of funk, disco, and R&B to Muckleshoot Casino Resort on May 17th. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you're hurt in a car accident, call Harold Car Law Offices right away. They'll save you time and get you more money from insurance while you're able to focus on recovering. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
Steve Kathan, a day after the Trump administration expressed optimism about a possible peace deal with Iran, Defense Secretary Hegseth warned the U.S. is poised to resume military strikes at any time, and a blockade of Iran's ports will go on for as long as it takes.
To be clear, threatening to shoot missiles
and drones at ships, commercial ships that are lawfully transiting international waters, that is not control. That's piracy. That's terrorism.
CBS's Weijia Jiang.
The White House is still very optimistic about reaching some sort of peace deal, at least publicly. They continue to say there is engagement, there are talks happening. There's just not an official date for a second round of direct negotiations after Vice President Vance led the first round in Pakistan that ended without a permanent peace deal.
In Virginia, police say former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife, then took his own life.
Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis told reporters both were found dead at their Northern Virginia home after the couple's teenage son called 911 shortly after midnight. The couple was going through a divorce.
Former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife inside of their home and then shot and killed himself.
Fairfax served as Virginia's lieutenant governor from 2018 to 2022. He was the second African American to be elected to a statewide office in Virginia. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Floodwaters from record rainfall in Wisconsin have inundated streets, trapping drivers and forcing part of the highway in Milwaukee to be shut down. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Historic flooding sent water rushing into homes in Sheboygan County as river levels rose to new record highs.
Yeah, we can't catch a break. Last year we had the ice storm. That ice storm did a lot of damage, but I think this is probably worse.
Strong winds in Michigan damaged 2 ice arenas and public school buildings in Ann Arbor. Now to Texas, where the mother of a murdered 7-year-old has faced her daughter's killer in a courtroom.
Former FedEx driver Tanner Horner has pleaded guilty to the kidnapping and murder of Athena Strand in Wise County. A jury is hearing evidence before deciding whether to sentence Horner to death. While on the stand, Athena's mother, Maitland Gandy, looked right at Horner as she addressed him.
She had a life, and she wanted to live, and no one can take that from her.
Gandy says she's sorry she wasn't there to protect Athena. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 32 points. The S&P and NASDAQ trading higher. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
It's 8:03, time for traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Got my eyes focused squarely in the Renton-Tukwila area. That's where we have our one crash of the morning that is still active. It's on southbound 405. It is right there by the Family Fun Center. The 2 right lanes are blocked. Now we've got a lot more first responders showing up. We have a backup that's about 2.5 to 3 miles all the way coming down from before the landing all the way through the scene. So there's at least a 20-minute delay if you're on southbound 405 trying to go through Renton and then over to I-5. The ripple effect of this is that northbound 167 is just jammed up from 180th on up because you're driving right into that ramp, which is basically you have to merge over 3 lanes like right away. So plan on at least 35 minutes out of Auburn and close to an hour all the way from Puyallup. Going the other direction, Renton to Bellevue is not bad at 35 minutes. Still working with this crash in South Hill on westbound 512. As you get up to the top of the hill, the left lane is blocked. That's why you're backed up all the way up the hill. From Federal Way to Seattle, about 55 minutes now. A lot slower past the north end of Boeing Field, all the way past the West Seattle Bridge. And out of the north end, not too bad. About an hour from Everett to Seattle, an hour and 10 from Everett to Bellevue, so about what you probably expected. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Randy Johnson number retirement ceremony presented by T-Mobile. Saturday, May 2nd. Get your tickets, mariners.com.
It's 8:04 on the Thursday, April 16th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
If you live in Seattle, you could soon feel the impact of the AI boom in your wallet.
3 companies are exploring plans to build a massive new data centers in the city, projects that could consume as much as a third of Seattle's power supply.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here to explain.
Yeah, and the big question is how much electricity will these data centers need? It's going to be a lot. One estimate is between 370 and 380, maybe 90 megawatts. That's enough to power around 300,000 homes. Andy Strong with Seattle City Light tells us they have a draft policy on Mayor Katie Wilson's desk right now to make sure that high demand from large load customers does not drive up rates for everyone else.
It's going to take some time to
review with the mayor's office all options that we have to protect our ratepayers.
Yeah, right now, these three companies are going through what's called a cluster study with City Light. How much will the plans cost? What kind of infrastructure are they looking at? Like a power grid do they have to add on? And how much electricity will they use up exactly? Very early stages here. Here are the companies, if you're wondering.
Prologis has an interest in 2 sites. Sabi Data Center is looking to potentially expand. And Equinix is another potential data center.
Now, those companies, if you haven't heard of them, they could very well be doing this for big tech companies that you have heard of. Last week in a letter to shareholders, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said AWS, the largest data center builder in the world, expects to spend roughly $200 billion more on capital expenditures this year, with the lion's share going toward AI development. Last year, Microsoft President Brad Smith tried to get ahead of this news story, announced a 5-point plan for all future data centers to pay for their own electricity, maybe even pay for their own power grids if they have to.
I think it's really incumbent on us as a company, and probably for the entire tech sector, to raise the bar, lean in, show people what we're going to do, and ensure that our deeds match our words.
So these companies are looking at land in the southernmost part of the City Light coverage area. That border runs, I'll take you west to east, Tree Point, and then near Highway 518, just kind of south of that, to just north of Renton. But again, they're a long way off. They're in their very early stages of kind of, kicking the tires, saying, I don't know, do we want to do this?
Be interesting to hear the community feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 8:07.
Bad news for would-be transit riders in Everett who are learning a light rail extension into town could be delayed by Sound Transit. Here's KIRO 7's Jake Chapman.
Public transit in the North Sound is a lifeline for so many.
I don't have a vehicle, so I use the public transit and the Light Link all the time.
And if you were to ask transit users what would make their lives easier, they would tell you the light rail extension in Everett they've been wanting for decades.
Sound Transit says rising construction costs and a $34 billion deficit could mean cutbacks or delays on ST3 system expansion work. The agency says it's considering multiple cost-saving measures and will make a decision in May or June.
From Snohomish County now to Pierce County to Sound Transit, where people there are saying don't cut costs at our expense. KIRO News Radio's John Repp looks at how local communities are scrambling to keep those transit projects on track in light of looming cutbacks.
Earlier this week, Everett community members urged Sound Transit to keep the ST3 commitment to bring light rail to town by 2036. Today, Pierce County Council members are saying the same thing in a note to Sound Transit, saying that continuing the light rail infrastructure to the Tacoma Dome is a critical piece of strategic regional planning. Meanwhile, Sound Transit is facing a funding shortfall of $34 billion. It's weighing cuts and project delays and should have a decision in May or June. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Some of the texters on the text line would say Sully is simply irresistible.
Oh, absolutely.
It's true.
Lots of them.
I know Steph would say that in his new Pharaoh costume he's got over there.
Yeah, I did debut the Sully Pharaoh AI on the text line.
Pretty snazzy, especially the chain.
You like
the traffic cone.
Yeah, everyone. If we're gonna do Egyptian, G has his onk. That's his thing. He, that, and that's more traditional. I don't think many pharaohs had traffic cones, but I do.
You're not just any pharaoh.
That is Chris Sullivan, Manda Factor over there. David Burbank is our producer. And, of course, Nick Krasha is picking the tunes. And we have John Repp out in the newsroom.
Speaking of G. Scott, he's going to stop by shortly. Are we about to see Starbucks corporate leave Seattle? He has some thoughts this morning.
And stick around at 8:15. We have Art Dolan joining us. He's the founder of Battlefield Addiction, a nonprofit that helps families navigate addiction. Art shares some really important perspective on this issue and why it's time for the city of Seattle to change its approach to the drug crisis.
It's 8:10. A battle over law enforcement oversight heads to court today for a preliminary hearing in Pend Oreille County. 4 Eastern Washington sheriffs, including Spokane County's John Knowles, filed the legal challenge to a law that allows a state board to decertify elected sheriffs.
We could be removed from office without a vote of the people for exercising our First Amendment rights.
Knowles spoke with the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM. Supporters of the measure say it's designed to increase law enforcement accountability.
Is Seattle's startup scene slowing down? GeekWire reports that local startups attracted just 69 deals in the first quarter of this year. That's the lowest since 2020. Total venture funding raised by local startups topped out at $1.5 billion for Q1, compared to more than $2 billion a year ago.
Amazon is accused of underpaying female employees, according to a complaint filed in court this month. The Seattle Times reports 2 female employees say they faced a discriminatory classification system at Amazon that allowed them to be substantially underpaid compared to male co-workers with the same job titles and comparable experience. The complaint is similar to a proposed class action suit against the company filed in 2023. Amazon at the time said the claims were false and that the company does not tolerate discrimination.
The parent company of Snapchat says it's cutting nearly 100 jobs in Washington state as part of a broader restructuring. Layoffs will hit employees in Bellevue, Seattle, and Vancouver, Washington, according to paperwork filed by Snap earlier this week. The cuts also include software engineers, data scientists, and recruiting staff. It'll take place over the next 2 months.
Starbucks employees are jittery about the future of the coffee giant in Seattle after the company leased a massive office in Nashville, Tennessee. The Seattle Times reports this morning that's enough space for up to 2,000 people. Starbucks currently employs about 3,000 people in the SoDo headquarters. The move comes amid criticism over Seattle's business climate, along with concerns about new state taxes that could drive companies out of state. Starbucks continues to say it is not leaving Seattle.
Well, yesterday on the show, you met Darby Allin, the AEW star wrestler. He told us yesterday he was going to wrestle for the World Championship at the Angel of the Winds Arena yesterday.
I think stopping by to chat with us was good juju.
Yeah, well, he got all, amped up talking about Sully being mean to me. Well, he won last night.
Isn't that awesome?
So it was in Everett. He started his wrestling training in Everett for a group up there. He grew up in Maple Valley, went to Tahoma High, and now he's a world champion for AEW. So we thought we'd send him
to our friend
congratulations. All right, it's 8:12 now. Let's get a check on the weather. Here's KIRO 7's Nick Allard.
Well, we are going to see some beautiful sunshine today. Expect temperatures to warm up to just around average or just below in the upper 50s. Even the fog that we have, the remaining sprinkles or flurries we had in the foothills, all that ends and goes away, and we will see sunshine today. So nice conditions are on the way. Just will take a little bit to get there. And then tomorrow, same idea, just dry with sunshine in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Mild weather this weekend in the mid 60s, but a lot of clouds, especially Sunday. But even Saturday, you're going to see a fair amount of cloud cover compared to what you'll see today. But both days around 65 degrees. And then Monday, Tuesday, it could be closer to 70 with rain holding off and even not much of it till Wednesday or Thursday.
Partly cloudy and 40 in downtown Seattle.
At 8:13, time for a check on traffic. Once again, every 10 minutes on the threes. Here's Chris Sullivan.
And we continue to struggle on southbound 405 as you try to make your way from Bellevue down into the Renton area. We have now 3 lanes blocked of southbound 405 right there in Tukwila by the Family Fun Center. Only the HOV lane is getting by, and we are backed up 5 miles behind it. It's at least a 25-minute delay to make that drive from Renton down into Bellevue and then over to I-5 in South Center. So that is just a nasty drive. And compounding things is, though, those of you on 167, you're driving right into that backup. So we're backing up all the way from about 212th and Kent. You're going to need 35 minutes to go from Auburn to Renton and about an hour all the way from the Puyallup area. Now, if you're making the normal commute from Bellevue on up into Renton, that drive itself is only 35 minutes, so that's really not all that bad. We are still working with this crash on westbound 512 right at the top of South Hill, which has backed us up all the way coming up the hill, and also in the eastbound direction, it is bumper to bumper all the way from well before you get into Parkland all the way over. I'm assuming that's a distraction slowdown. That is not exactly a very good corridor of our map. And then Federal Way to Seattle, we are looking at about 50 minutes coming down from the north end. And David, if you would, please, we're going to debut on YouTube Live the Chris Sullivan Traffic Pharaoh. We are looking at about an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett into Bellevue and about an hour from Everett into Seattle. The lake bridges are still good. One of our good friend listeners, Stephan Renton, she refers to me as the Traffic Pharaoh, so yes. I decided to make an AI version of that. That's not me. It's pretty close. But again, the traffic cone makes the outfit.
You're their Pharaoh, and you're glad to do it.
I'm glad to do it. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that one. That one came in. It's also very slimming. Not exactly true. If you put those faces
Nice
side to side, I'm not really
The beauty of AI.
Yeah, exactly. And this traffic report brought to you not by your Pharaoh, but by Carpet Liquidators. Get your entire home installed for just $99 at Carpet Liquidators. From carpet to flooring, Carpet Liquidators has got you covered.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Across Washington state, the number of people living in encampments continues to grow despite billions of dollars spent on homeless services and supportive housing programs. Critics say housing first policies, which prioritize placing people in housing without requiring treatment or sobriety. They have done little to address the underlying issues of addiction, they say, and mental illness driving this crisis.
Our guest has spent years working this problem from a different angle. Art Dolan is from Battlefield Addiction, a service he founded years ago, and he helps people get into real recovery and into sobriety, not just housed. Art, thank you for joining us today. We'll talk about the fundraiser you have coming up, but I just want to start with what sounds kind of like a controversial statement here in the Seattle area, and that is housing first does not seem to be working.
Well, there's an insinuation, and I think that the argument has the argument over what this actually is, whether this is a housing crisis or whether this is a drug and mental illness crisis, seems to be a longstanding argument. And I would say to the people that say we need to house people first, I would say, well, if it's a housing crisis, then why is it only first? Why isn't it just housing then? Why is it housing first? Because housing first insinuates that there's something else that this person needs. And now if we have these policies where we're housing people, but we aren't giving them second. So my question is, what is second? And we hear terms like wraparound services and things like that, but we've never seen them come to fruition. We've never seen this model that they speak of. And we're talking about years and years of hearing this. So when does it happen? And how much money do we need for that to occur? I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying you haven't done it. And I'm saying it's almost cruel to leave people out on the streets. Even if a homeless person happened to be sober and down on their luck and out on the streets, even them, they might accept drug treatment or any kind of sober housing then. We could just do that, So why aren't these people that are out on the streets not having a home accepting treatment and sober living then? They don't have a drug problem. They could go to sober living. So there's an insinuation that housing first is happening, but it's not even really happening because there's no second and there's no third. So my question is how long until it happens?
Art, you don't tiptoe around terms like addict. You call them drug camps. You say sobriety out loud. Mm-hmm. Why does that make some people uncomfortable this day and age?
Well, I've been inundated with a bunch of new terms. I've been in this I was a drug addict for 17 years. And, after that, I've been sober. I've been sober now for 15. And I've been doing things, and these terms I've been inundated with them. Substance use disorder. We sit around in meetings of AA or NA or whatever kind of meetings, and we call ourselves addicts. So I don't understand why people feel it's offensive because we call ourselves that. No one ever asked. So I always wonder why these terms change. I've been inundated with terms like housing first. I've been inundated with terms. Evidence-based is a term that I've been given. And my question every time I hear the term is evidence of what? What? What is the evidence of? Are we talking about evidence of an independent human being? Are we talking about evidence of somebody was doing one drug and now they've been put on another drug? What is the evidence you speak of? So it's kind of this argument that I've been hearing that your stuff over here doesn't work, but we have evidence-based. And then when I say evidence of what, they don't have an answer. And they might, and so I'm waiting for those answers because what we have is a very difficult process. What we're doing is kind of difficult. To take somebody from drug addiction to sobriety to independence is a tall order. So that's why maybe our success rates aren't that high, because getting off drugs is a very difficult thing. So maybe
another term we hear a lot is harm reduction. I am guessing you have some thoughts on that too.
Well, I think we've missed, harm reduction is usually used as a last resort. It's a last resort. If you have a human being that you know there's no other way that they won't stop using drugs, they're going to use, then what we used to do is say, well, if you're going to use, here, please use clean needles. Be safe. There's nothing we can do. We are using harm reduction as our first move. So it's not even a question. Before we ask people if they even need help, if they want to stop, if maybe they want to go to treatment, we're saying, here's supplies, here, use. So it's not at this point harm reduction. At this point, it has to be called providing. It has to be called allowing.
Tell us about your event coming up May 9th.
May 9th, it's a run, 5K. I think it's our 10th annual, and all the proceeds go right to an individual scholarship to our program. And being able to just bring people in out of treatment, bring people off the streets and say, here you go, man, you got 3 months to get it together. We want to get people 3 months normally of funding so that in that 3 months they can learn the tools that they need to be sober, and they can learn the tools they need to get back, get a job, get a bank account, get their ID, and all that money goes to that. And that's what we're working on.
You're working on getting people sober and independent and turning the next chapter in their lives, and not just sitting in a place and rotting until they decide to ask for help, Art.
And if Seattle doesn't start, and mark my words, get them sober. Until we start saying we need to get these people sober, it will be a mess forever. It will never change, because you're doing exactly what people have learned in the history of addiction. Everyone's known. You cannot help someone that's addicted to fentanyl and meth before getting them sober. You cannot do it. You will not do it. You're not going to tell me there's a way. You can't show me there's a way. So please, getting them sober is the only way for an addict to change their life, and it's the first step. And it's laughable that people think that there's another step. Absolutely, completely laughable. And when you start saying we need to get them sober, then you'll also start recognizing that it's going to be very difficult without trusting our police and without using some type of at least coercion or threat to. I always say we don't need to arrest our way out of it, but somebody's got to think they might be arrested. You see, my father didn't spank me all the time, but he did spank me once.
That was it.
And I remembered that for the rest of my life, and I didn't want it to happen again, so I acted accordingly.
Art Dolan, Battlefield Addiction, big fundraiser coming up May 9th.
Come on, sign up. We need you there. It's a fun day. We've got booths and food and coffee, and we have a great time.
All right. Art, thank you for your time this morning.
You're welcome. Thanks.
You. It's 8:23. That's time for a check on traffic once again. We do that every 10 minutes for you. Chris Sullivan, what's happening?
Well, we've opened one more lane on the southbound 405 through the Renton-Tukwila area. For the last half hour or so, we had only the HOV lane open. Now we have the HOV lane and left general purpose lane past the scene of this crash, which is over taking up the rest of the freeway right by Wild Waves. The Family Fun Center. And we've got about a 5-mile backup behind it and at least a 20-minute delay, maybe 25 minutes as you make your way from the top of the hill all the way down into Renton and then over to I-5. Going the other direction, a little looky-loo slowdown, but not bad, and then 35 minutes from Bellevue to Seattle. Renton to Bellevue. The significant spillover of this is that northbound 167 is backed up out of Kent from 212th on up because you're driving right into the backup. So give yourself about 35 minutes out of Auburn and about an hour all the way from the Puyallup area. Speaking of Puyallup, we do have a crash on westbound 512 in the left lane right as you get to South Hill. So just as you get up and around the corner from the hill, it's going to be right there, and you're backed up all the way into downtown Puyallup. But what's really odd about this is there is an even longer distraction slowdown in the eastbound direction of 512. It's about 3 miles long, and there isn't even any crash. There's something to look at, sure, but there's just as much of a backup in the eastbound direction, yet there's nothing there. Federal Way to Seattle, we've got about 48 minutes, not too bad. A little over an hour from Everett to Seattle, about an hour and 10 from Everett to Bellevue. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
Looks like we'll have a partly to mostly sunny afternoon. Highs will be in the upper 50s. Next couple of days after this, partly to mostly sunny with a lot of warming ahead of us. We're talking about the mid-60s rather this weekend. Seattle right now, it is partly cloudy and 40.
And coming up, Luke Ducey on the life of cherished Seattle area political journalist Joel Connelly, who died this week. Also, Soli, you have a choke point.
We're going to take a look at Sound Transit, whether it's time to really get after fare payers and put in some turnstiles.
All right, it's 8:25.
Ever have one of those mornings you're already behind? You can't find what you need. Your closet is a mess. Your pantry is overflowing. Your garage, well, you can't even use it. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just that most homes just weren't set up to work the way we actually live. We're here for Closets by Design, and what I've learned is it's not just closets that they help you out with. It's garages where you can finally park your car, a pantry you can actually use. We're looking at a wall bed for our house to maximize our home office. They do everything, and here's the key. It's all custom built in Kent. Designed for your home, your routines. There's nothing off a shelf, nothing pre-made, and when things are designed right, your day just goes smoother. Less clutter, less frustration. Everything finally has a place. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 40% off, plus an additional 15% off, and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
ICE agents have now been deployed to 14 airports across the country.
Traffic.
Did they open lanes?
They just reopened all lanes of northbound I-5.
Engaging conversation.
If he ends this right now, it only emboldens Iran. That's a big, big mistake.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! JSN!
Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Owie, wowie.
What's with the
water heater's worn out?
Way less hot water?
Takes a lot longer, too.
Sounds like a goner.
Worst of all,
what?
Wasn't planning on it.
We can help.
Apollo Plumbing.
Ready right now to get you
in hot water.
Same day.
Not this day. My budget.
How about with easy payments?
How much easy?
Around $50 a month with approved credit.
A new water heater?
50 gallons of 100% hot water delight.
For about $50 a month.
51, 52 to be precise.
And you can do it
today, if that's what you need.
Is it ever?
Apollo installs new ones with code upgrades.
Can't beat that.
Actually, I can.
What?
Your same-day water heater replacement includes Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Which means?
Apollo Plumbing covers your new water heater for life.
You mean should it ever wear out?
Apollo Plumbing replaces it free.
And if it needs service?
Service is included for our A-list members.
Wow!
Your new water heater is ready
right now
at ApolloPlumbing.com.
Thinking about going hybrid or even fully electric? Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership with the largest selection in our state, including Crosstrek or Forester hybrids and the all-electric 2026 Solterra. Right now, the Solterra comes with 0% APR for 72 months. The Crosstrek starts at 1.9% for 36 months. Visit Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability, a documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 4/30/26.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical, there's no beating CM Heating.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through Sunday, May 3rd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder. 511 is now part of Seattle, and they're celebrating at South Center Mall this Saturday, April 18th. 511 makes purpose-built gear, including pants, shirts, bags, and more, built to handle whatever your day throws at you. Come see it for yourself. Meet pro rider Carrie Hart and enter to win a trip to Salt Lake Supercross, including 2 tickets and $2,000 in cash. Join them from 10 to 6, one day only, Saturday, April 18th at South Center.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's cars with a K.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 8:31. The world of journalism is mourning a profound loss today.
That's because former Seattle PI reporter and columnist Joel Connelly has died. He left behind a legacy that has touched so many of us.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here to share more.
Yeah, whether you realize it or not, Connelly has really impacted all of our lives in one way or another. His writing has changed policies, and it's saved parts of the environment. He started writing for the PI early in his career. He was also a senior fellow at the Northwest Progressive Institute. He wrote commentary and columns for the Post Alley, and he contributed to the Cascadia Advocate as well. Joel was a mentor to a younger reporter, Casey McNerthney, at the PI. Casey is now the spokesperson for the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. He interviewed Joel, though, and shared it with us today to share with all of you listening. Casey asked Joel at one point in that interview, what's fun about being a reporter?
I write politics. I write politics in the first state in the country that to legalize marijuana. First state in the country to legalize marriage equality. We set the pace for a lot of people around the country in this state, for good, or some would say for ill.
Joel often had so much on his plate, covering so many stories and so many issues. At the same time, Casey asked him, how do you balance all of that work?
You try to multitask. I got a whole bunch of interests and a lot of experience covering things in the state. There's still a little bit of drive in me, particularly to try to save places, keep us from being Californicated. And beyond that, you simply have to act quickly.
Well, Joel certainly acted quickly and seized every moment that he could while he was here. And those politicians he often held to the fire, keeping them honest, well, they're sharing some kind words on social media. Senator Patty Murray just shared this morning. Joel was a legendary journalist who did important shoe leather reporting. We didn't always agree, she said, but that's not how he'd ever have wanted it. He knew his job was to hold our leaders accountable. My thoughts are with his loved ones and family. You know, Joel's family shared publicly that he had been struggling with his health recently. One of his goals was to keep writing, and he did. Right up to the moment, they say, his body failed him. Joel Connelly was 78 years old.
Yeah, he died yesterday, and his last piece was published yesterday. So just a remarkable, remarkable guy.
Right up to the end, yep.
8:33 now. Let's check traffic with Chris Sullivan.
And we are still struggling in and around the Renton area, whether you're on southbound 405 or northbound 167. Here's the situation. We've got a crash blocking 3 of the 5 lanes, the right-hand side of the freeway, right there by the Family Fun Center, and we're backed up 5 miles. We have a 25-minute delay getting down through this if your goal is to get over to I-5. Coming up the other direction, also a 25-minute delay on 167 because you're driving right into that backup. So we're looking at least a 40-minute trip from Auburn and an hour and 5-minute drive all the way from Puyallup. Going the actual commuting route from Renton to Bellevue is not too bad. That's at about 35 minutes. Down in the South Hill area, we continue to struggle up the hill from Puyallup because the left lane is blocked as you work your way up to South Hill. Solid backup all the way into Puyallup and a significant distraction slowdown in the eastbound direction. We have very heavy brake lights up the hill on 18 to I-5, and then Federal Way to Seattle's about 50 minutes. Coming down from the north end, we picked up the pace. It's only 45 minutes from Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio app. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone.
After yesterday's wild weather, we're going to see some really nice sunshine for today. Mostly sunny, 56 the high. Tomorrow looks pretty much the same, maybe a little bit warmer. And then for Saturday and Sunday, into the mid-60s, upper 60s on Monday. Right now in Seattle, it's partly cloudy and 38.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Let's go!
Now, Choke Points with Chris Solomon.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, he's going to roll again, Manda.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting service, bailing on Ballard, West Seattle, Everett, or Tacoma, eliminating stations. Everything is on the table as Sound Transit looks to fill a $34 billion budget hole.
All right. So what are they going to do about it, Chris?
Well, one thing they probably could do is maybe make their people who write it pay for it.
What a concept.
And again, I don't want to be a super panacea here about this and say that fare recovery will solve the $34 billion budget. But when the hole's that big, a little bit in your pocket can be helpful. So I want to set the stage here for you. Light rail riders used to pay, when they boarded the train nearly every time, fare compliance with north of 90% in the 2010s when service began. That's when we started seeing light rail between Seattle and Tukwila before it expanded to the airport, Angle Lake, and then University of Washington during that 10-year period. But during the pandemic, fare compliance cratered. According to the latest numbers from Sound Transit, which I got yesterday, this comes from the year 2024, about 61% of riders actually pay when they board light rail. That's terrible, but it is up from 55% just a few years ago. Now, one contributing dynamic to that low number, is that now, for the last couple of years, anybody under the age of 19 is free. So there is obviously going to be a number of people that board that's going to hurt that number. But overall, 61% compliance is not a good number. Of course, Sound Transit checked for fares when service started. It hasn't really checked for fares in any meaningful way since the defund police movement really forced the agency to kick the fare enforcement officers off the trains. They were replaced by fare ambassadors that really don't put the fear into riders, and they certainly aren't checking for fares when thousands of riders pour out of the stadiums after games. So why is fare enforcement important? Well, when your agency is bleeding money and facing a $34 billion hole, maybe having paying customers would help. Sound Transit promised voters it would get 40% of its overall funding from fares. The agency has since lowered its expectations to 17%. And today, the actual number is 12%. Be nice to have some of that money, wouldn't it? Now, to Sound Transit's credit, it is considering a pilot project that would install fare gates or turnstiles at several of the stations to make sure that riders are paying.
What I care about the most is encouraging people to pay the fares and making sure that they do.
Sound Transit board member Claudia Balducci believes that adding fare gates at some places could make a difference.
There may be some locations where turnstiles are the answer. There's just too much fare jumping, and we want to block it off. But I don't think we need to do it at every single one of these stations. And what I want to do is be data-based about it.
Pilot project, if adopted, would study fare gates at 5 of the busiest stations because Balducci doesn't believe that every station needs them.
I am most interested in doing what will get people to pay the fares. And I don't know that we need to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in retrofitting all our stations to make that happen.
I remember asking Sound Transit 15 years ago when the fare gates, why they weren't installed when they were doing this on the front end. And I was told that Seattle is not a turnstile city. That's just not who we are. Not sure what that meant then. Still have no idea what that means today. One of the main reasons turnstiles were not installed is because Sound Transit chose to put a lot of the tracks at grade or at street level. Imagine the turnstiles at stops along MLK. People would just walk around them if they wanted to. They'd be in the road. They'd be on the tracks, not exactly safe. And one of the good reasons maybe they didn't install them there, or maybe why they shouldn't install them at grade stations. But Sound Transit has a choice here to make. Force its customers to actually pay for its service, or keep bleeding red ink and keep looking at a hole that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So they got to do something, and this is one of the ideas they're looking at.
Well, we don't want to be mean to people. We want to seem welcoming. That's why we don't have the gates.
What, New York isn't welcoming? Chicago isn't
understand it.
welcoming?
The first time I
San
went to New
Francisco
York, I
isn't
was like-
welcoming? D.C. isn't welcoming? Making people pay their fares. Now, here's the interesting thing is, we're trying to get to the answer. I know we're short on time. Is the why? Obviously we did stop paying during the pandemic. That's also because people stopped riding mass transit.
Yeah.
People were getting in tubes when everyone was worried about something being passed, but an airborne virus. But people were like, I don't pay now because I paid into this thing for 25 years and I haven't gotten jack for it. So they've got my money. Yeah. I'm like, well, that's still not cool either. If you're going to ride the thing, you got to pay for it, right? But I think it's only fair to make people pay. So we'll see where this goes.
Okay, so that's up on mynorthwest.com.
Yes, it is.
You also have my story about Metro Bus fare enforcement up on mynorthwest.com. That's a whole nother bucket of fish.
Angry.
Yeah.
It's a trio, a 2 for Transit Thursday.
There you go. What's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at this crash in Tukwila, which is also a T, to find out exactly how bad the backup is getting through Renton. We'll break it down next.
Congratulations to KIRO News Radio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community. It seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO News Radio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve. On KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
It is summertime, which means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, fun with the family. And Brad, I'll bet it's easier to pay for with free checking from WaFd Bank.
That's right, Dave. Set your financial goals and stick to them with free checking. No minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Hey, you'll also get spending tools to help you stay on top of your budget. Not only is WaFd Bank rated the best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states.
And tell me more about this card control feature I've heard so much about.
Dave, you can view transactions for individual cards, set controls and alerts, and if you forget your card at the restaurant, you can instantly turn it off while you go back to get it. You'll also have access to free tools like Zelle, mobile check deposit, and when those unfortunate times happen, submit fraud disputes right inside the WaFd mobile app.
And don't forget, you can choose from some great-looking debit cards, including Seattle Kraken and Seattle Seawolves cards. So visit WaFdBank.com and open your account today. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
8:43 now. We check traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
And while I was ranting about Sound Transit, we have cleared the crash on southbound 405, our biggest issue of the morning right now, which had up to 4 out of the 5 lanes blocked right there by the Family Fun Center. It has cleared. All lanes have reopened. The backup is getting better, but it's still about 20 minutes worth of a delay coming from 44th at the VMAC down into Renton. The bigger impact and the thing that's going to take the longer to clear out is northbound 167, because you were driving right into the ramp that was right at the backup, right at the crash. So you're going to have about 35 to 40 minutes out of Auburn and over an hour all the way from the Puyallup area. Speaking of Puyallup, getting reports that we might have cleared the crash on westbound 512 right at the top of South Hill, so that's good. The backup is going away. So is the distraction slowdown in the eastbound direction. Then we have Federal Way to Seattle. Not too bad. We're running at about 50 minutes there. A lot of the slowing there is right there by the South Center interchange. And then the rest of the way on up is not too bad. Lake bridges are still in very good shape. And we're running about 45 to 50 minutes from Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue, maybe a little bit under. So coming down from the north end isn't bad. This report brought to you by Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. This month, when you install a new AC or heat pump, you'll get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Schedule today at dayandnight.net.
It's going to be a lovely day, mostly sunny, 56. I was saying the same thing in my head. Got to sing the jingle. For tomorrow, partly cloudy, 59. The weekend looks terrific. Will be partly sunny Saturday and Sunday with highs into the mid-60s, upper 60s on Monday. Right now in Seattle, sunshine, still chilly. It's only 38.
Coming up, G. Scott stops by. Starbucks says it's totally McGodely not moving to Nashville. We'll see about that. What would it mean for Seattle if the coffee company left? G has some thoughts coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Got a Tesla, EV, or hybrid that needs repairs or maintenance? Take it to the experts at A&M Auto Repair in Bellevue, the new dealer alternative for your EV or hybrid. Visit A&M Auto Repair at myevpros.com or call 425-96-EV-FIX. Gas prices keep climbing, but the cost to drive doesn't have to. At Subaru of Puyallup, fuel-efficient models help you go farther on every tank with the confidence of all-wheel drive. From the all-electric Solterra to the Forester Hybrid with up to 35 miles per gallon, your stress-free shopping experience starts at Subaru of Puyallup. For stress-free pricing, a huge selection, and all the current pricing and financing specials, visit SubaruofPuyallup.com, your stress-free dealership, part of the Harnish Auto family.
Don't wait. Insulate. Last year, American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $2 million in insulation rebates from PSE, more than any provider in the state. If your home was built before 1990, you're eligible for recouping up to 95% of insulation replacement costs. Insulate with American Crawl Space and keep your home warm during the winter and cool during the summer.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Well, look who it is. It's a beautiful Thursday morning and guy with a beautiful heart. G. Scott is here with us from the G and Ursula Show, weekdays 9 to noon.
That was really sweet, Charlie.
That was really nice, depending on who you're talking to when it comes to a beautiful heart.
I think you have a beautiful heart. Nice smile.
Seems like people with hardened hearts don't like my heart.
Oh,
I like your shirt, too.
Hey, Little Mariners.
Your shirt and your heart.
All right.
So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about heart.
They are totally McGodely not moving, right?
So,
Starbucks?
Is that a Simpsons thing?
No, I just,
Let's keep it simple. Since 1971, a little coffee shop opens up at Pike Place Market. By the way, when my family was in town, of course,
had to go.
They had to go get a picture in front of that. And here we are, 55 years later. The Seattle Times is asking a question that nobody ever thought would be asked. Is Starbucks breaking up with Seattle? You know that family member that's been married for 55 years and you're wondering if they're going to get a divorce? This is one of those things. Here's what we know. The governor of Washington had a private meeting this week with Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol. Now, nobody's saying what was discussed. They won't share the agenda, but we all know. Yeah. Because just hours after winning the Seattle mayoral race, Mayor-elect Katie Wilson stood on a picket line outside of the Reserve Roastery and said it loud and clear. What'd she say? Quote, I am not buying Starbucks, and you should not either. The incoming mayor of the city where Starbucks was born, telling people to basically boycott it. Starbucks has also now leased Nashville office space for up to 2,000 employees. Let me just stop right there. Oh, then Howard Schultz had to make sure when the whole announcement of the millionaire tax happened, he like, hey, everybody, I'm moving. Hey, Howard Schultz, he sold to Sonics. We don't care. But I just want to say, this is the same CEO that used to be the CEO of Chipotle. He moved Chipotle. So here we are now. So I don't know. I don't think we all know. But I know one thing that I knew that day when the incumbent mayor said that on the first day, I knew that this would come back and we would be talking about that for years to come. I'm not saying that she's the sole reason why Starbucks is starting to make this move, but I just want to say, like, when you see the Seattle Times ask a question like that, it feels like a lawyer in a courtroom. A lawyer in a courtroom does not ask a question, at least my daughter teaches me this. She doesn't ask a question that she doesn't know the answer to.
Right.
So, your thoughts, guys?
Boeing did it.
I was just going to say.
Boeing, which was the Seattle company. They moved initially to Chicago. I think they're, outside D.C. now. But companies do this. They get concerned about the business environment. But how do you balance the two things, right? Because you want a company that is a good steward of the public. It's a good working relationship. Yeah. At the same time, make it good enough for the business to be here in Seattle. Can you balance that?
Yeah, you can. You sit down and talk. I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't spend your first day as a incumbent mayor telling everybody that you won't drink their coffee and neither should you, right? When you're sitting down, diplomacy needs to be a word that's used. For some reason, diplomacy has not been used, whether it's here locally or when it comes to world affairs. But when you do things like that, when you make drastic change, like there needs to be some kind of, we're not going to all agree on everything. Some of you guys, and we don't even all agree with our spouses. Some of us had to do chores during the Masters. So it happens. it happens like that. So diplomacy, that's the big thing.
I don't go to Starbucks often, but it would make me really sad if they left. I love Seattle so much, and it's such a huge part
the biggest
of the city.
The biggest thing would make me sad, and the same reason when Boeing and all this stuff, we all know what that means. That's jobs.
Yeah.
That's jobs here. So the people, the baristas, what do they call them, partners, DB? The people that have really made this place what it was, what about them? What about
the coffee shops are going to stay here as long as they're making money, right?
I would imagine.
What
did we say?
Right?
The Soto headquarters has 3,000 employees, and they have space for 2,000 in Nashville?
Yeah. It's kind of sus in terms of what's happening here.
A little sus, as my daughter would say.
Well, again, yes, David, ultimately, yes, we would believe that it continues. Starbucks, no problem. All the stores are going to stay here. But, I tell you, Detroit, Michigan was really, my dad used to tell me stories about Detroit, Michigan in the 70s and 80s and how great it was there then, the economy.
Ben. All right, G. Scott, that's a bright note to leave on.
This was joy? I chose joy.
That's a beautiful heart and a beautiful shirt you have.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
You may be excused.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Sully, you have traffic.
And we are working with about a 22-minute delay on northbound 167, continuing to work into the 405 corridor from about 212th and Kent all the way up. This is the result of the fact that there was a crash on southbound 405 just after that merge, and so we're still dealing with it. It's going to take you 40 minutes from Auburn to Renton and an hour and 5 all the way from Puyallup. There is also some very heavy braking on southbound 405 approaching I-5, and then I-5 itself is really heavy through Tukwila now that all of that crowd that was backed up up is now kind of working its way. You're going to need about 50 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle, and the heaviest spot is right there at South Center. Rented to Bellevue, not bad, 25 minutes across the lake, no problems. Coming down from the north end, we've got about a 40 to 45-minute trip from Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue. That's actually not bad at all. Olympia to Tacoma, no problems, and we're definitely seeing things improve on westbound 512 up the South Hill after an earlier crash there. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance, considering a new Lennox cooling system before the summer heat wave. Get a price estimate on your phone in 60 seconds from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Someone on the text line says they still have hail on their deck from yesterday. That was quite a storm. Today, the calm after the storm. Mostly sunny, 56 for today. Tomorrow, 59. The weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, look beautiful with highs warming to the mid-60s, upper 60s on Monday. Right now in Seattle, the sun is shining. Still chilly. It's 38.
This is the time of day people start logging on to YouTube and watching us live. We've got 50 people in there right now. Be sure to click like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Yes. Coming up, it's the G and Ursula Show. They talk with a former staffer of one congressman about the culture problem in the U.S. Congress.
The John Curley Show.
If by like the 15th of October rolls around and suddenly there's a bolt of lightning and I croak out right there, I'm fine.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
My dream of growing a giant pumpkin is just a couple of months away. I know somebody who knows somebody who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows someone who got me the seed, the 1,500-pounder, baby. It's in a secret location. I don't want to say where it is.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community. Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community. Not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
April is a great time to grow your connection to nature. From native fir trees in your backyard to a thriving patch of flowers or a walk through your local arboretum, Sky Nursery supports your gardening journey with quality plants, supplies, and local knowledge. Visit skynursery.com.
Let Olympic help you create the ultimate home contrast therapy studio. Pair relaxing Tilo sauna with our revitalizing Vigor cold plunge. Save up to $5,000 when you buy both. These massive savings end April 30th.
Spring is a perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing. A chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
It's a fact. When your eyes work correctly, light focuses through both your cornea and your lens to give you high-quality vision. Hi, it's Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision. Here's another fact. As we near age 50, we begin to lose the quality and function of our natural lens. That's when we start to reach for reading glasses and contemplate those cataracts on the horizon, typically in our 70s or later, but inevitable if we get old enough. Fortunately, K2 Vision has the advanced permanent solution for both, refractive lens exchange, or RLE. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. Plus, another thing is permanent. You will never develop a cataract. After over 20 years replacing over 100,000 failing lenses, we will help you determine when it's your right time for RLE.
Schedule your free Zoom consult today at k2visionrle.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus